we're recording.
With another exciting episode of the Terrorisk podcast. AC is off. Also, it's suddenly not cold, but cool here in New York City. Fall. It feels like the first proper fall night. After many nights being very warm, the days being genuinely warm, and the nights being like pleasant summer nights for the last few months.
This is definitely fall territory for sure. Kind of crazy actually, because this is my first summer not being my first fall not being 33 years old, the year Jesus died.
Yeah, how does it feel living past Jesus?
Feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Feels good that I didn't die past that Jewish guy. I didn't die before that Jewish guy.
I outlived that Jew.
Yeah. So current events. I mean, all right. So material concerns. When it comes to, I don't know, say security, what makes me feel secure and what makes me feel insecure? Well, what makes me feel insecure is the fact that there's even an argument about a very popular streamer abusing his animal.
Oh, you want to talk about Hassan Piker? What are your thoughts?
No. We'll save that for later.
Oh, fuck.
We'll save that for later. But, well, first of all, I mean, I had an interesting conversation today about like what the next president would look like, and I'm still holding my position that I want to support the first female Republican president because I think it would be very funny, and I think it would be thematically appropriate. Like
if it was Candace Owens.
Or Tulsi Gabbard. But yeah, it is more likely to be something stupid like fucking Candace Owens. But yeah, candy ass Owens. But yeah, I like the idea of Tulsi Gabbard as president.
Yeah.
She's a fox.
I don't know. It feels like I actually can't make a real prediction. I fear that JD Vance is too boring to actually be president.
A lot of people are saying, I was like, where's that coming from? Why? Just because he's vice president, you think he's going to be the next president? It's like, no, I think
he seems very, I mean, he is an internet right-wing guy, and he's probably going to show the failures of the internet right-wing. This is like he's very much a platonic. I'm sure he has all of his racist group chats. He probably has.
Oh, because he's a millennial.
Yeah,
but he's still got a hot Indian wife.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Well, he's the high achievement for the platonic, extremely online internet right guy. He's this nerd from poor rural background into the military, was effectively groomed from a relatively young age by Peter Thiel, Amy Chow, hot Indian wife, kids. I bet he's genuinely the most racist person to ever come within.
Nah, I don't think he's that racist. I think he's too young to be like genuinely that. He's never.
Well, I'm sorry, I should say racist. Actually, he is by far the most. Well, I mean, because he's a millennial and because he's like obviously a right wing online nerd.
I think
I think him not becoming president is going to show the failing of the entire alt right. Internet dissident right, everything I spent my whole life devoted to. He's our highest achievement, and he's probably going to fail.
Nah, I think
I'm being too pessimistic.
I think the real racists of the world are war veterans, are men and women at this point who have seen war, who have seen like killings from like one ethnic group upon theirs. You know, like I think.
You're right. Like someone like Andrew Jackson was objectively far more racist.
Hell yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Or someone I don't know, even someone who's fought in like the Gulf War is probably like way more racist than any fucking millennial. Cause like, you know, once you fight like, you know, one international battle, you're already fighting all of them. You're already like, I don't trust those things or those things, you know, like that.
Well, regardless, you're right. That's the wrong line to use, but he is. JD Vance, I'm sure, is the ultimate political culmination of 4chan's entire political project, such as it is.
I don't know. I think he still likes colored people.
No, I'm sure he does. More so than a lot of people would.
Yeah.
More so than almost anyone who's ever lived.
Maybe Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know. I think Mark Zuckerberg really likes colored people, just a different color.
Yeah, yellow and not brown.
The only thing that also another thing, yeah. So what? JD Vance is a xenophiliac, okay, but he's also white and not Jewish. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
A xenophiliac Republican who is not Jewish and
Or
white.
even like culturally Jewish, like Trump is. Trump should be seen as the first Jewish president.
Is Trump culturally Jewish?
Yeah, from growing up in New York, his whole like insult comedian persona is a very Jewish one, but it's like Don Rinkles, Rodney Dangerfield, a very like 1950s Catskills Mountain comedy routine.
The way Trump is so skilled at his brand of like shitting on people, it leads me to believe that he was victim of that specific type of abuse.
Well,
Like
I
the only
grew up in
like
Queens.
I mean the kind of abuse that only rich people understand, you know? Like where to us it's like, oh, are you seriously talking about my shoes right now, motherfucker? I just worked a 9-hour shift at a fucking
Trump desperately wanted to be accepted by New York high society, and he always was on the outs, or always an outsider looking.
New
in.
York. You think and no, he wanted to be like with like standing shoulder to shoulder with like royalty from Europe, you know, and European countries and stuff. Because that's where there's definitely tears when you're rich.
Mhm.
Like when you have like
There's a status climbing among the wealthy that drives him.
yeah, which we'll never probably ever understand, but I don't care to. That's the good thing, because like I know where the tippy top leads you. It leads you to raping kids.
I think another big factor is that even if he was born a millionaire, he was born the wrong kind of millionaire, and his whole
what,
life.
fat and white and like sausage, like
No, I mean like he's like nouveau riche. His dad being like a slumlord,
as opposed to a South African techie.
or as opposed to any old money family in New York, and his desperate desire to be accepted by a high society that wouldn't.
Yeah, but all the real old money is now like in the shadows. They don't do anything. They're not in tech. They're not in politics. They're not in consumerism. Like they're in the shadows.
Trump was born rich, but he wanted to be that kind of rich and not the kind he was.
Well, then he should have bought Bitcoin. Like, what can I say? He should have bought a shitload of Bitcoins when they were cheap.
He's
Cheaper,
just that
even.
much older too, but
I actually made a joke. I was like, could you imagine how embarrassing it would be, like to this day, being in your 40s and Trump still somehow outlives you? Like,
yeah, one of the most unhealthy. Well, he doesn't drink. I know. I'm sure he did a lot of coke in the 80s.
I mean, look. This sounds crazy, but it's like as a 40-year-old, 45-year-old now, within 40 years, you'll be like 85, and you'll be ripe for death. Meanwhile, Trump, a billionaire, will be like 120.
Trump's gonna probably die in his 80s. I'm sure, if not his 70s.
I don't think so. I think he could survive. He could live to be like 120.
He's dying in the next 10 years. Here's my prediction here. He's dying in the next 10 years.
I don't think he's gonna die before Bush.
Which Bush? George W?
Yeah.
Yeah, George W is younger. And also healthier overall.
No, I think George W is gonna die before Trump.
Interesting. How old is George W?
No fucking idea.
I want to see this because George W definitely seemed like a picture of health compared to Trump, but Trump at the very least doesn't drink and probably limited a lot of his drug intake.
Same age. Holy shit. He's the same age as Trump.
Damn, 79.
Yep.
That's
crazy.
actually a great comparison.
That's amazing.
Who's going to live longer?
That's incredible.
I feel like Bush is going to live longer than Trump.
I think Trump's got this.
It'd be fun if he did. Yeah, in 79, that's hilarious.
Or maybe they'll live forever, both of them. Like it'll be like the end of the apocalypse, and then W and Trump are gonna be like, well, looks like we finally did it.
How old is Obama? Is he like 10 years older? Probably like...
Obama is 64 years old. He's
Yeah. So
significantly
he's
younger.
he's 15 years younger. Okay.
Obama is more like the guy that'll like die at the same time that you and I die.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely. He looks a lot older now, obviously, because he's that much older. But
I could see him living for another fucking 50 years. This fucking fuck.
yeah, another 40 years. Yeah, for
50.
sure.
I think
50.
Yeah, I think he'll pull 50.
How old is Biden? 79 as well, right?
Oh, he's cooked. Biden's done for.
Yeah, he's dead before
He's
the
a
end of
different he's a different stock, you know. He's not the same.
3 years older, okay.
Oh, he's old as fuck.
Man, it fucking rolled having Biden as president.
It did kind of rule. He really was this old fuck that had no business.
I mean, the sad thing about the Biden administration is how many hilarious things were not caught on camera. How many hilarious incidences involving him were just never recorded.
I will
You
say
know what I mean?
Trump's going to end his presidency older than when Biden ended his presidency.
Yeah, he is.
So
Yeah.
that means Trump will have been the more lucid president than Biden in their elder years.
for the 8 years of senility together.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, yo, Trump's gonna literally outlive like certain 40-year-olds. Like,
I mean, there's people alive today in their 30s or 40s
That are probably gonna be
going to
dead
dead
before,
before
yeah.
Trump.
it's kind of yeah, that's insane. Fuck.
Just every single Chapo style leftist who has like a heart
Oh,
attack in his
dude,
40s. I just want them to know that Donald J. Trump is still alive.
This is a good time to like just acknowledge how little the dirtbag left truly accomplished. Like they did nothing. Bernie did not win. Hillary did not win.
Ma'am Danny is going to win in New York, most likely.
That has
but
nothing to do with dirtbag left. That is all Zoomer shit.
I feel like he's millennial driven.
No way.
Yeah, because of who's voting.
Millennials don't give a fuck about Mamdani.
I think there's a lot of like normie lib New Yorker millennials who do, and they fucking love him, and definitely older people too. The people I've seen most enthused about Mandani were like white liberal women in their 50s.
I just can't imagine millennial New Yorkers even having their shit together enough to care about politics at this point. Because I look at like every millennial like in New York City, like a fellow resident, and I'm like, you guys are fucked up. I mean, there's definitely exceptions that I'll never meet. They probably have jobs in Wall Street or in some like tech company, forward operating station in New York City or something. But I used to hook up with this girl who worked for Etsy. She was great. She opened my mind a lot. She planted the seeds to a lot of things that I didn't,
really?
that I kind of took for granted until
Like
now.
what? Spiritually?
Yeah, she came. She introduced me to the idea of alignment. I think she was the first one who came to. It's like everyone's got separate, separate selves. There's your professional self, your personal, your family self, your personal self, your romantic self, and it's like the question is, do they align? Like, or are they like fighting against each other? And like, you know, back then I was younger and stupider, and I was like, oh wow, I just want to get in that pussy. But in retrospect, like after a spiritual awakening and all that, like I thought a lot back to what she said, and it was pretty on point. I give that to her. I mean, we had a very messy entanglement, you know, honestly, because like me being with her was an affair. Like I was with another girl, and this girl, like, you know, but point is, she introduced me to. I don't even know if she fully like comprehended what she was onto. It's just something like I think women are naturally more spiritual than men.
Yes, that's true. 100% true.
But that aside, she was the one that introduced me to the idea of like your spiritual self, your professional self, your business, you know, your romantic self, like all these different selves aligning for the same goal as opposed to fighting with each other, you know?
What if? Yes.
What were we talking about? What were we talking about that before? Oh yeah, we were talking about.
I was gonna say, what if Joe Biden was the crowning achievement of the dirtbag left? Because I'm sure he had the most dirtbag left staffers of any presidency that will ever exist.
I think the reason why
I think
to answer your question, that would be fair and it would be pretty funny to say. But I think the reason
also they basically dirtbag left archetype is an aging millennial, like schlubby, fat, balding guy who loves The Simpsons. They effectively were maybe electing Grandpa Simpson as president was the crowning achievement of Chapo.
But they didn't even.
They didn't even go to bat for him, just indirectly. That's what they've done.
Yeah, that's the most they ever accomplished. So, but yeah, I bring up the Etsy girl because I'm like, who would she have voted for at this point? Because back in those days, it was Trump. Trump was president, like the 2016 run. So it's like, I wonder if like I haven't talked to her since before Biden became president and after. Like, I wonder who she would have voted for in those times. But would have been interesting to consider. But anywho, she's one of those New Yorkers that I could see voting for Mamdani now.
Yeah.
And the dirtbag left.
I mean, so much of them are located in New York, so it makes sense to try and field the New York candidate as opposed to a national candidate.
But then again, I don't know. It's like, what is my? Because most New Yorkers, they don't give a fuck about like the political narrative, like the dirtbag left in their fucking lofts and their fucking studio apartments in like Soho or the Lower East Side or some shit. Like, what people, New Yorkers, really care about is like getting stabbed in the city by some Bruce Leroy motherfucker, you know?
Got some scrawny, schizophrenic black guy on the subway.
Yeah, I was gonna beat you to death or throw you on train tracks as a train's coming because this is happening right now. You know, and I don't think Mamdani's like equipped to fix
No, he's
that.
going to in fact increase it probably.
Well, that's the fear. That's what his opposition would say, and any mayoral opposition would say that. You know, like Eric Adams' opposition would say the same shit. It's like if we let Eric Adams become mayor, then he would have like all these fucking, you know. Like,
I don't think so. Just because he's admittedly a MTA cop, but he's formerly a cop.
there's only
So when he was elected, the assumption would be even if he's corrupt, whatever's going on, he'll at least be tough on crime because he's a former cop.
No, he would not have been tough on crime because he was not tough on crime up until this point.
What, Eric Adams?
Yeah.
He's been decent.
No, he hasn't been
Things have
tough.
declined.
See,
Not tough.
you
but
moved into this city.
That's true. I moved into the city. I didn't see Bloomberg.
I was living in the city.
Bloomberg and the Dream.
You didn't see Bloomberg. You didn't see Giuliani.
I know that they were much better. You're right. Yes, excuse me.
I'm not going to say better. I know they were a lot harder. They were way more hardcore. And
Fair.
Bloomberg didn't have to be as hardcore as Giuliani. Actually, they were hardcore in their own ways. Giuliani was hardcore.
I wish Bloomberg was just mayor for life.
That's hilarious. He was a good mayor, though. He was a really good mayor.
Would you? How would you feel if he was mayor for life instead of De Blasio, instead of Adams?
I would say New York City would just become Bloomberg land, like Disneyland, except it's a city of Bloomberg, you know? And I say he would make New York City a lot richer. I don't know about better, but definitely a lot richer.
More expensive?
More expensive. Public school probably would have costed you like $10,000 a year somehow, you know? Like, yeah, I think Bloomberg would have definitely increased the quality of life, but it wouldn't have been the same city.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
even
it's a bad thing.
when Adams dropped out, I don't even want to vote for the mayor anymore. I just want to write him in.
Who's the alternative? Cuomo?
Or Sliwa.
All right, so Cuomo.
I don't want Como, so I'm just gonna vote Sliwa.
I'm saying if you really want more policing in the subway, so like random people aren't getting beat to death, Cuomo's probably the better option than Mamdani. If you think Mamdani's gonna fucking like make it worse, then Cuomo is probably the best chance you got to make it less worse.
Sliwa led a vigilante group, but I know he's not gonna win as the kooky Republican.
I don't know who that is. I think Cuomo's
Curtis Sliwa is the Republican candidate. He's the Guardian Angels guy, the guy that had like the vigilante group in the 70s.
It would
and
be
80s.
really fun if he won. Actually,
That'd be
awesome.
wonderful. I would much rather he win.
Would you join the gang that he's gonna inevitably?
Yeah, I get stabbed, but yeah.
No, what if we join together and we?
That was a great idea. We should join the Guardian Angels.
It would look good on like future prospects. You know, it's like, hey, this all ended up in disaster, but we got to see the whole thing firsthand. We were there and we accidentally beat up some Dominicans that we thought were drug dealers.
It wasn't Dominicans. Come on, we're just going to be beating up Black Americans.
No way. You know how many Black Americans would join?
Yeah, sure. A bunch.
It would be awesome. It would be
Yeah,
an awesome.
a ton of Dominicans would join. Way more Dominicans.
You know what it would be? It would be like adult Boy Scouts with brass knuckles and spiked baseball.
Yeah,
bats.
it would. And it's going to be, you're right, nowadays it's going to be a shit ton of Dominicans,
Yeah.
various other Latinos.
So I'm just here to go.
Puerto
I'm going to look good on college right now, you know? Like, and I'll be like, yeah, I have experience with swordsmanship. I'll patrol these streets as a guardian angel 2.0. I got to vote for this guy. I got to make this happen.
yeah, let's vote for, we'll
Sliwa.
endorse Curtis Sliwa.
Sliwa. Let's do it. I'm down. I
He's
support.
such a eccentric figure, too.
I want to join this grown-up New Yorkers Boy Scouts led by our fucking psycho Republican mayor who just wants to beat the
You ever see his tan line, Chris? Or any photos of him from the 80s?
No, check it out right now. His
Pull up this screen, yeah.
His name is Sliwa.
Sliwa. Yeah, he's Slovak.
Holy shit!
Yeah, look at his images. What?
Damn, this guy's hard as fuck, dude. Look at this guy.
He's been look for tan line. Images tan line. He's been wearing that since the 80s.
I almost don't believe him. Like he seems like a plant, like a fucking like a not real guy.
The far left image.
This one?
No, above that one.
Holy shit. I don't know, man. It's like this guy. I don't know if he's real. Like he almost doesn't seem real.
No, he is. I mean, he's an absurd Look up Sliwa 80s. He's been around for a long time. He's always in this like absurd.
Yo, if this guy becomes mayor, yo, that would be so good.
Look at him with his boys. The third image from the left on the top.
This is so funny. Holy shit. Yo, we got to get this guy in.
Yeah.
Could you imagine this in 2020? It's not, imagine not like a bunch of black guys in the 80s, but it's us like with the red hat.
Yeah.
We're holding like fucking tasers. And shit.
What if Ma'am Danny wins and he becomes the mayor in exile, where he's just running the guardian angels against the increase in crime that Madami causes?
That would be so good. It would be like the Warriors, but 2025.
Yeah.
I really hope this guy wins. This would be so funny. But I know Como's probably got a better shot than him.
No, at this point, actually, maybe not, because he's just Como isn't running, and Como is isn't running, and Sliwa is such a character. It probably should be a Sliwa versus Mamdani election.
Yeah, but Como is too saucy for like a lot of the committee members. And
Como isn't doing shit. He hasn't done shit his entire campaign. He didn't campaign at all.
Yo, what does that tell you?
He doesn't want to be mayor.
No.
He thought it was also in the bag.
What does that really tell you about him and like what he's capable of? It tells you that the man has connections. If he could afford to hold these positions without doing shit, that means he knows people, like serious people within like the state and the city infrastructure, and they owe him favors probably. Otherwise none of this would work. Like the fact that
his father was governor before him, and he was governor.
That's what that only adds to my argument. Like this guy is.
I don't think I think Sliwa's going to get more votes.
Is he a good man? No. Is he a good politician?
I think Sliwa's going to get more votes than Como.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Mamdani, Sliwa, Como trailing.
I don't know. I don't even know. I know Mamdani is a weak ass bitch.
Yeah, he's going to win just more narrowly, and I fucking hate him. But yeah.
Oh well, we're gonna have a brown mayor of New York City. So yeah, we're gonna have this guy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Not great, but whatever. I'll miss Eric Adams forever.
The Jewish black guy.
Yeah, pull up Eric Adams, Albanian.
What was that about?
What? He was just at like the Albanian day.
Why? What was he doing there? Just chilling.
The outfit's so great.
Oh, he likes to get
I love that
he.
he dresses up. I mean, that's why I love about him.
Did you see his Israel outfit?
Yeah, the Jewish holiday one. Was it Israel or like? No, it's not this. It's Rosh Hashanah. Him at a Rosh Hashanah thing is a fantastic dripped out outfit.
This is all he's doing with his makeup.
Yeah, and I love it. That's why he's
like, I just want to get dressed up in this shit.
It's such a sick fit.
I need the flames going up and shit from the candles and shit. This guy's such a fucking character, yo.
Yeah, this is why I miss him so much. He's so great. Look at the one from the back piece, the third from the left.
It looks like back nipples for like the Star of David. This is fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, he's not our mayor anymore.
Rip.
At this point, it's gonna be this Silicon Valley fucking dick sucker.
No, he's not that. He's Mamdani's mother is a Oscar-winning director. His father's a professor from the Ugandan upper-class Indians. He's from old money. He's the equivalent of a college campus communist with rich parents.
Well, I will say this. I mean, a lot of the racists of America are so focused on the black people and the Jews, they don't even realize that our country's being taken over by Indians.
Yeah, it's true.
The vice president's wife, maybe the future president's wife,
Also,
is
the mass immigration of upper class Indians into America and the rest of the world.
Kash Patel, Indian. Did you know that when he was sworn in, he was, you know how like, you know, when you swear in on
Wait, he swore in on the Bhagavad Gita?
yeah, which is weird even for an Indian because it's usually you would pick the other text. I forgot what it was called, but
Mahabharata?
yeah, but because the Mahabharata was apparently more substantial and more expansive, but he chose specifically the Bhagavad Gita.
Did he choose that or the Ramayana?
No, the Gita. He chose
Okay,
the-
interesting.
Which
He's
is
more up.
interesting.
He's more up on the militaristic
Yeah,
parts.
the
of
war. It's like now I become-
Well, I mean, it's you see his like badge for the FBI. It's just like a pro wrestling belt.
That's hilarious.
He's very much a Indian guy who's a practicing Hindu who's assimilated into.
The warrior culture.
He's assimilated into like working class middle America WWE Slipknot kind of aesthetic.
See you in Valhalla, brother.
You see his cowboy boot company. He had like a cowboy boot bullshit drop shipping company.
Do you think he's a useful idiot, or do you think he's like a lizard person?
I actually think he's a smart, incredibly goofy guy.
Yeah.
I think he's incompetent in a bunch of ways, and then he's smart in other ways. I know that he's drastically cut the FBI. Like he's fired like 1/6 or 1/5 of FBI agents.
That's yeah, but that's like par for the course for any change in regime within intelligence agencies, you know?
No, I mean he's like reduced the employee count by that much, and he's been replacing people as well.
Well, shit like that tells me that the prototypical alphabet agency kind of dynamic that we usually think of when we think of intelligence agencies is dead. Like the old guard of say the big names like NSA, FBI, CIA. They're farces of what their original function was. Now it's like agencies that we probably will never ever know the names of.
I mean, ICE in a lot of ways has been crafted into a Trumpian Praetorian Guard.
Exactly, but that's just a farce compared to say like the real deal. I mean, beneath the Praetorian Guard in ancient Roman history, we'll look at that as a parallel. I mean, wasn't there like a shadow organization working like an intelligence like the G-men of the ancient Roman Empire? You
They
know?
did have a bunch of things with assassins, but yeah.
I mean, there were whole secret societies built around subterfuge, assassination, and espionage, especially in those times because it was necessary. But anyway, fast forward to nowadays, like yeah, I think just like you know how once you know their name, they've pretty much been out of real commission, you know. Like once they're in like every movie, it's like you know they're not really serious now. Now they're just doing like grunt work compared to the people who are doing like real dastardly shit. Like, you know, we think of intelligence agencies. No one talks about the DIA. You look at movies, it's always CIA, FBI, NSA, but it's never like DIA, which is incredibly scary when you think about it, like the actual concept of what that is. The Defense Intelligence Agency. It's like, what exactly does that fucking consist of? Certainly not central.
There's a lot of different government agencies.
Yeah, there is. That's true. But the DIA the idea of the DIA is particularly
Denver, yeah, Defense Intelligence Agency, or the Denver International Airport.
and they're dealing in like space and cyberspace, and I mean this is just a front-facing website probably just filled with a bunch of bullshit, but like this is a real deal agency, you know, like they're probably scarier than CIA operatives at this point. CIA operatives to me are just pimps. Like CIA guys, like any given CIA agent is not some spy that goes and like does like assassinations and planting bugs and shit. I think a standard CIA agent job is to blackmail people, blackmail criminals. It's like, hey, you have skills, you're a hacker, but we caught you doing some child porn shit. So we're going to use you. And if you don't do what we say, you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison where you're going to get raped and probably murdered. It's not even, and it's easy for them. Like it's a no-brainer. Because like once they find an asset, they develop the asset, they get close enough to like, we got you dead to rights. Now you're ours. That's essentially possession. That's like we took your soul. Because emotionally, psychologically,
It's slavery.
it's such an advanced meta form of slavery though, because it's like you could be a guy and there was never like cuffs put on you, and yet it's like you're compromised in such a way, like maybe you just happen to be a guy who was into child pornography.
Or not at all. They just plan it on you and all that. Yes.
Or yeah, exactly. And maybe despite just that thing, you're just an upstanding citizen. You work for like a tech company. Maybe you work as in the executive offices for a convenience store chain, or maybe whatever. Maybe you're like a regular person except for that thing. But once they have that thing on you, you're now theirs.
Yeah,
and everyone's got
secret
something.
organizations, secret intelligence agencies, the shadow government behind the shadow government.
Maybe, and it's.
Do you want to take a bathroom break?
Wait, we still got a few minutes.
Oh, fair.
But it's like maybe it's not as serious as that. I'm just saying, like it's always like something. Everyone's got something, and it's always relative. Like the seriousness of it. Like let's say like a person, you got blackmail on one person, and then another person who did the same thing. But for them, it's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you think I give a shit that you got me for that? Dude, my friends do way worse shit. Meanwhile, for another person, it's like, oh my God, if you do that, my life is over.
That's true, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm such a low-end person. It's very hard to...
Me too. This is why,
it's impossible to blackmail me.
This is why I say I love...
Short of some... Even with planning something, I would just call your bluff on it.
This is why I love being a retard. I'm just a regular guy on the internet. What are you going to do to me? Fucking fine. Ruin my life. You kill me even. It's like, okay.
I don't know. You can't get me fired from my job. So.
To me, that's just more validating and vindicating. Not even on a social level. It's just for me. It's like, that's satisfying enough. It's like, I was right. You motherfuckers were threatened. Anyway. All right. So we were talking about the modus, a little bit on the modus operandi of intelligence agencies, international intelligence agencies, and I guess this is a good time to kind of touch upon the morality of it. I mean, we're talking about such pervasive agencies or organizations that kind of overstep the boundaries of like what's considered morally acceptable by your standard American citizen, for example.
Also, they supersede governments and nations and official recognition.
I mean,
such as like how Pakistan is run by, I think, the ISI, their intelligence agency.
I mean, let's take the example we were just using about how like they would the way the CIA, for example, would actually develop assets.
Yeah.
What do? They find someone who's compromised in some way. It's like, oh, we discovered that you're
and
cheating.
It's aggressive blackmail to enslave them.
Yeah, which is effective because it's cheap. The turnaround is so easy. It's very low risk, on yourself as the operator, as the player. So that being said, it's like the morality behind it is like, what do you think of it? Do you think it's like, I mean, to the analysts and the handlers, they're probably thinking, well, these guys had it coming, which they're probably not wrong,
Even if not, whatever, it's your job, and this is how you recruit assets from people that are not. Even if they're not doing anything morally wrong, they're not great pillars of the community either.
Yeah, for example,
they're often just
like
lone guys.
Let's say you have like a 19-year-old kid.
I'd rather ruin the life of a weird, smart, childless, single man in his 30s than a father.
That makes sense.
Also, he's gonna. I don't know, but yeah, go on.
Or what if you have like a 20-year-old kid who's spending like 25 years in prison because he killed his drunk stepdad who was about to strangle his mom to death but didn't hold up in court because his stepdad was who he was and blah, 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 some sob story. That's a perfect candidate, for certain things. And it's like, hey, you either kill this fucking wife of a Al-Qaeda terrorist or you go back to prison. And as that kid, you're probably like, well, I have the training. I know exactly how to do this. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. I know exactly why I'm doing this I mean, it gets bad when you don't know why you're doing it, right? It's like, why do I have to kill the child of this Ukrainian arms dealer? Why the child and why not the guy himself? It's like, that's not your task to ask those questions. It's like, it's like, then it gets a little dicey. What would you do? It's like, Wait, you're telling me not to kill the arms dealer himself, but to like slit his daughter's throat? It's like, yes, 2-7. This is what you must do. This is your task. It's like, I don't want to do this. Well, you know the alternate, like, you know what happens if you go against the directive. Like, shit like that. I mean, that shit must happen, you know? And this all probably is because of some bureaucratic thing where it's like the arms dealer's daughter had to die in a brutal way because the arms dealer's enemy was someone who's actually useful to, say, CIA or something.
Or the arms dealer's more useful alive than dead.
Yeah.
So
they
this,
just had
and
to
then you're
break
going to say
him.
we're going to kill your other family members, etc., etc.
Yeah. So, you know, shit like that. Like the morality behind that, you know, it's like, is it really kosher? Do you think that's worth defending your American way of living for?
Yeah, probably. I'd probably say yes, as that much of an American patriot, or just someone whose circles of allegiance are centered foremost on the country.
The question is, I mean, how did they come up with that? I don't think they were smart enough to do that all by themselves. I don't think CIA was like blackmail is the most effective way. I think they drew from something else. And I think much more older societies and much more ancient organizations were utilizing this form of, call it blackmail, call it leverage, call it possession, taking your soul, slavery, you know? I mean, this kind of practice goes back to like before the Middle Ages, before the Dark Ages, before you know.
Yeah, before Rome and well into the ancient world.
We're calling this
ancient Egypt. Yeah,
it's probably a form of asymmetrical warfare.
I suppose it is. It's a way that a secret society can leverage or utilize power.
Yes.
Especially given limited resources, limited number of members, all that.
Now let's break it down. How, as a man of power or in a powerful situation, get yourself compromised? What are the attack vectors? There's sexuality. Like, you know, you could seduce a man of power who's even happily married and righteous, but it's like, hey, you've been working so hard and so many people rely on you.
Yeah. But money, blackmail, both genuine bad behavior or
no, we're talking about the deepest exploits within human nature. Like if you every person has this, and usually they're exploitable simply because they don't acknowledge it. I'm not saying like we have to spill our guts in terms of our own personal ones, but I'm just saying we have to acknowledge at least that this is why it works so effectively to the most powerful people in the world. I mean, we're not talking about like personal attacks. We're talking about hacking consciousness to the extent where you could bend them to your will. Because remember, we talked about it's basically a question of taboo. One person's blackmail is another person's. So the fuck what? Go ahead, tell them.
I guess it's the same format as secret societies exist all throughout human history and throughout the world. There's a lot of tribal societies that have things that look exactly like the Masons, Illuminati, all that, albeit on a lower scale. You have things like the Dogon of West Africa, Aborigines in Australia and Papua New Guinea, various Amazonian tribes, I'm not remembering the names, other vaguely accounted anthropology texts, of a tendency for men, particularly elite men within that society, to meet in secret and to engage in taboo violation for a formation
as a bonding experience.
Bonding experience, so that you can engage in
mutual
assurance and decision making and higher complex social organization.
Maybe that's
the tradition. I mean, there's a long-running tradition all around the world of guys dressing up in costumes to scare women and children.
On a psychological level, we can say the best way to bond two people is to do something they're not supposed to together.
Yeah.
That's the best way to bond two people. It happens in war. You're not supposed to be killing people, and yet two men who are forced to kill people together happens to have like one of the craziest, strongest bonds you could think of in the human experience. Mm. So yeah, I think doing taboo things together does bond you together spiritually. And the intelligence agencies know this, and this is what they're built on. If you think about it, whether it's the KGB, whether it's MI6, whether it's CIA, whether it's FSB, whether it's Mossad, it's an international thing too, right?
Yeah.
Like whether they're enemies, they're still in contact. Like they still have channels to each other. It's like, dude, you know we're coming after you. It's like, yeah, but we got this. If you want this, then you're gonna have to like not kill us when we do this. And it's like, that's a hard bargain. I can't guarantee anything. It's like, all I ask is that you like, that's kind of probably how those conversations must go. Like even as enemies, they probably still have to like communicate on some level, not like so abstractly, you know? Which is probably, and I think about the intelligence network a lot of our world, because it's like, when I say intelligence, I mean like specifically like the agencies of our world governments that literally specialize in getting like compromising information on one another, you know? Like I think about that a lot because they live in a completely different reality than us.
Yeah.
They live in a world where their morality is completely built on a completely different framework. Murder is okay to them. And to a certain level, like other things like pedophilia and rape are probably okay.
An entirely different moral code for people who see themselves beyond everyone else. You know, an interesting factor about Christianity is that it was universalizing and making public a lot of rituals and rites that existed in contemporary Roman society. Or there's various mystery cults that are practicing similar things to it. But it was democratizing this information and these behaviors and the magic of their rituals.
So let's bring it back to the guy, Jesus Christ, the supposed guy, Jesus Christ. Now, Jesus was traumatizing to the actual spiritual powers of that region, which was the Jews, the Pharisees. And the Pharisees had a monopoly for a long time on that area's version.
And Roman religious structure had devolved in a lot of ways to be a lot of Roman citizens did not believe in Jupiter,
even though the Roman path of spirituality was still just as valid because it's just as ancient and just as deep and steeped in tradition.
But there was a lot of Roman
They lost their way.
A lot of Roman citizens in the Middle East and North Africa, like in Egypt, that were sympathetic to the Jews but didn't want to convert to Judaism because they didn't want to stop eating pork and get circumcised.
But it must have told you that, like, you know, right around the time when both the Judaic infrastructure was showing cracks at the same time that the Roman pantheon was also showing its cracks and its influence. And here comes this guy, Jesus, who shows you it's okay. It doesn't fucking matter if you fuck up as a Jew or a Roman. You can still be forgiven. It's not about that. It's something deeper. What do you, the Roman, have in common with this, the Jew? And once like he asked that question, that's when shit starts falling apart, and they didn't like that. Yeah. And Jesus knew that was going to happen within Scripture, at least. I think he knew. I think he knew.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously knew. Yes,
it's basically like a troll who has a spiritual awakening. He's like, oh man, I'm about to make a lot of problems for a lot of people because I have to. Because a troll knows they can make a lot of problems for a lot of people, and they just do it when they want. But once they have a spiritual purpose to it, a divine mandate to it, then they're like, I'm trolling for God, you know, like, and then you can't stop them. I gotta blow myself up in Britain, you know, for a God, for Allah, you know.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's crazy. When I'm 43, it'll be 2,000 years roughly since Jesus was crucified.
Yeah, a millennia.
Yeah, 2 millennia.
I mean, I never identified as Christian my whole life, and yet my life is steeped in Christianity. Being born
from
to
your
like,
name,
from my name, from being born to who I was born to, from like, you know, family lineage, from like the area I grew up in. Even if it's not specifically Christianity and more like Catholicism, but still, like, you know,
that's Christianity, regardless what American Protestant
denomination. Say. Yeah, but it's still Jesus, you know. And I'm like, and Jesus has been so pervasive, like always. Always been interesting to me in that fact, and I feel like it's protected me, you know, if I'm gonna get personal with it for a second, because we're not there yet, but I could say like maybe my name invoked a subconscious reaction for me to like, yes, I was capable of doing immoral things, which I definitely have, but I never went overboard, you know, enough to the point where as I did my shadow work as an adult, like I was like able to say like I was grateful. You know, I knew I could have done a lot worse. And I knew there were other people who did a lot worse, and I knew it was important to forgive them too. You know, it's like they're gonna have an even harder time forgiving themselves than I did, and I know I already did like pretty shitty stuff, but nothing like as horrible as like stuff that I first of all that I know firsthand that I've seen, but also it's like that I could conceive of, and it's like I get it. It's hard for everyone, not just me. Harder for some, less hard for others. You know. But even if you didn't do as much evil shit, you also have the other difficulty of being the victim,
Yes.
you know? And that also leads you into a different trap.
Having to work your way through that mental snare that you found yourself in.
Either way, it
That
takes
rut you put
forgiveness.
yourself-
It takes forgiveness for you got to forgive yourself for both being a weak piece of shit and you got to forgive yourself for being a fucking bully scumbag, you know?
And can grow into a full adult.
Holism. Becoming whole.
Yeah, whole person, yeah.
I mean, when we're children, when we're born as infants, we're already whole. We're perfect. We're on a quantum scale where like the possibilities are endless. It's as we get older, we get confined and calcified, egoed out, and then the question is, can you bring it back? Despite having your materialist baggage, can you still remember what it was like to have infinite possibilities when you didn't have those biases and those judgments, those preconceived notions, and all that emotional baggage and family history and all that shit?
Yeah.
Which we can. It's just it takes work. I can't just say it's like instantaneous, you know. You have to like it's a process. It's definitely a process. But I think this stuff matters because it defines a lot of the decisions we're probably going to end up making, you know. Which is also just, you know, all about probability.
Yeah.
And this is why I think like, you know, people are so scared of AI. They're not scared of the technology. They're scared of what they're really scared of is how predictable they are.
And AI is all trained on things we've already written. The name itself is deceptive. It's just a large language model. It's scouring the
a
internet.
predictive model.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probability. It's calculus.
People long before ChatGPT came out were already writing and reading articles and saying things in a very algorithmic fashion.
Yeah. The trick is to activate certain flavors of pattern recognition with specific requests. That's hard to do. Because back then you had to like be a programmer and you had to find the right sets of data and you had to be able to program it and to be able to tell the programs format it in this way to be able to be readable in a graph form or be able to be readable in this number form. And that took, again, programming. You had to call upon certain functions, and again you also had to get the right source material, which is the data. Just like any art, you know, you have to have the right paints to make a good quality painting.
Yeah.
Same concept, like the right canvas. And now it's like so much more accessible where any asshole could just like call upon that same power without having to learn like esoteric programming languages to be able to like call upon these functions that most people would never ever in their lifetimes use normally in a computing machine, you know.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier, much like how a GUI does.
Dude, there was a point in my job like while working where my boss sent me like this drive file full of files, each file containing a set of PDFs, right?
Yeah.
And he wanted me to send an email back with one email per file with all the one folder with the files inside. And like he sent it to me as if like it was like, you know, and first of all he didn't give me any specific instructions on how to do this, and he just told me to do it. So I did it. Well, you know, I looked at what he wanted me to do, and if I did it myself, it would have required me to go into the drive file, open up each folder, download each file, then reattach it into an email manually, address it and subject it, and do all that shit. And that's how I would have done it like maybe 5 years ago. But now I just asked ChatGPT. I asked Gemini specifically. I was like, what's the most efficient way to do this? And it's like, oh, you'd want to use like Google scripting, and Google scripting was like this new platform that came out where you're able to like upload scripts to JavaScripts to be able to like connect different Google services. Like instead of having to download it locally, my Google Drive file could directly connect with like Gmail services and just like automatically transfer it and batch it and automate the whole process, even go through like the data set and to be able to format it and present it into this individual email with all the relevant information and map it out. As long as I knew the key of like how the shit was arranged, I could just be like, all right, now do the same do the same script, but add a function where it does this, and it just adds on to the code. And I was able to run it through Google Script. And basically, it's like if anyone could do that now, I mean,
After how long did the whole process take you using Gemini and then doing Google Script?
okay, put it this way: if I had to do it the way, it's almost as if like he expected me to do it that way, and like before he sent the task to me, he must have had someone else do it that way manually, each one. So when he sent it to me, he did it to me, and he sent it to me in a way where he figured it would take me like a week or whatever to do all of it. Because like once I started running the script, within like 45 minutes, he was like, "You got to stop." I was like, "What are you talking about? You sent me like 300 something files, and you wanted them sent this way and batched out to these addresses, so I'll do it." And he's like, "Yeah, but do like this many this day, and tomorrow do." So what that told me is like, I just kind of did it in a way that he thought he was giving me more work than he really was, because
It
of
probably also overwhelmed him receiving. He was expecting to receive the information piecemeal and work through it on his own, and then you were sending too much at once.
I also asked for a raise.
Yeah.
And he probably, it's like while like that was going like mechanizing, he was like, I got to give him more work then. And
Yeah.
he thought that was, but it's interesting because it's like everything and that to me is like a personal example, as above, so below, where that's probably reflected in running parallel with a lot of people's experiences, where it's like, my life is just getting faster now, if they knew if they're in the right position to leverage what's available.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh though, because it made me kind of bitter. I was like, you motherfucker, you sent me this task specifically because you thought it would take this long. But then when I finally figured out how to do it within like an hour, not even, to like figure out how to do it in this way, it's like suddenly it's like, oh, it's too fast for you. It makes me think, it's like, I should be running the fucking company,
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go there. I'm humble. I don't care about that shit. A job is just to pay the bills. Like, there's other things I love that has nothing to do with making a living. Like the podcast. I can't let you look at this.
Yeah, I know. It's so addictive and fun.
But yeah, what do you think about that though? Have you ever used like ChatGPT to make your jobs easier?
No, I haven't. But I should try it anyway. Just to see.
Dude, how do you think I learned how to program?
Yeah.
I didn't ask ChatGPT. It's like, how do I program? I was like, please give me a study program that I could do on a weekly basis on these days to learn this programming language. And it gives it to me. It gives me all the resources that I would ever need. And I do that for everything. I don't ask the thing how to do something for me. I ask, how can I learn it the best way? And that's the thing. It's like, I think this is a word thing. I think this is like completely a grammatical thing, or a literacy thing, or like how wide your vocabulary / lexicon is. If you have the gift of gab,
Yeah.
and you're given these language models, you could do way better things than some fucking moron who's like, oh, do this, make me a movie, make me a video game, and they're like, oh, see, you can't do it. I'm like, you fucking moron,
Yeah, the way it actually can assist you if you really use it as an assistant, has this little drone circling around you that you can bounce ideas off of.
It's like,
to
instead of
further
saying like, make me a
improve you.
game, I'll be like, what's the best video open source video game engine to make a video game? Oh, Unity. And
then like you help
So-
it with your programming and with other like
Yeah.
mild things.
And if you
that-
learn other things before then, you could also
Yeah.
be like, all right, what's the boilerplate for a base coding, framework for a video game? And it'll give me that. And it's like, all right, for this module, what's the base framework for that? Because if you know coding, then every program is just basically a set of modules which also run on a set of array and data sets and libraries. And you could apply that knowledge to how you communicate with your large language model to be able to actually generate more cohesive code. Because like I thought about it and I was like, why couldn't any of my superiors like work with AI to be able to generate that code, that script, to be able to do this job way easier? Well, it's because
they don't even know.
they don't even know how to ask.
Yeah.
They didn't even know how to ask. All they know how to do is just tell people to do shit and
I'm
expect
sure they're older and they're used to the way it's worked for a long period of time before this point.
their logic is like, oh, I just keep bothering them on the phone, add pressure so that they feel like, and then they have to do things for you, the customer. Like that's their mentality, is to apply pressure on people, which worked back in, like, I don't know, Wolf of Wall Street type days.
Everything up until very recently. Or for perhaps a period of time.
Yeah. But we're still going through growing pains. Like, I don't think a
Yeah.
lot of people in my generation would even know how to use, like, leverage AI that way either.
I need to actually learn how to start to think about how to leverage it or use it.
Yeah. And this still ties back to spirituality, because, like, I didn't really learn how to learn this way until, like,
Yeah.
I realized, like, why I was learning things.
Mhm.
At first, like, music, for example, the reason why I could write songs better now, it's because back then I knew how to play, but I had nothing to say.
Yeah.
Now I realize I could say things that I wouldn't care to or be able to in regular speech. And that's a lot deeper. It's like writing too. Like after your spiritual acknowledgement, you develop what's called a quote unquote writer's voice in some mythological circles. Which is all very important because it helps you connect people. Like, you could info dump on someone, but their eyes will just glaze over and you'll lose them. But then once you give, like, some analogy or metaphor that they viscerally feel, it's like, oh yeah, I've been in that situation before. It's like, yeah, that's right, motherfucker. And that takes experience.
Yeah.
That takes actually going out there and having the experience of being, like, fucked over by a drug dealer, fucked over by a girl, or, like, having to fuck someone over, having to fire someone. Like, once you go through those things, then you could use that to teach someone.
Mhm.
It's like if I'm teaching you swordsmanship, I'm like, you drive, right? He's like, yeah. It's like, all right, you know how the interplay between the throttle and the clutch and all that? It's like, yeah, well, think about it that way, between, like, switching your foot stance. It's like, oh, I get it. Because I know, like, the person I'm teaching swordsmanship to also is into cars, and I'm into cars. Or it's like, let's say the person I'm teaching plays an instrument like piano. It's like, you got to
Yeah.
think in terms of rhythm, like my one equals your two to react. So try to make it so my one also equals your one, so your two takes me, like things like that. It's like, because I know music, I can communicate with a musician trying to learn swordsmanship in that way. Or maybe I was trying to teach how to play guitar, and this person never learned how to play guitar, but he's a boxer, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
you got to think in terms of, like, like cause and effect and action and reaction and footwork, which is actually very important because you're doing rhythm. This is, I think, what it means to be a Renaissance man.
Mm. You're able to integrate elements, skill sets, knowledge from one field into another far more readily.
Yeah, and I do think there's a hierarchy.
And it's like there's a different level of, like, combos you're getting from widely different fields.
100%, and especially the more you develop one, compared to others. But I do
Yeah.
think there's a hierarchy of different, like, skills that you could approach that makes you better at things. I think the two big ones are, one, math.
Yeah.
Math is just sacred. Math will get you good at. I'm not even. My strongest thing is not math, right? But the people who have mastered mathematics are the people who can probably figure anything out, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, the second one that I actually can say that I'm better with is literacy, words.
Yeah.
Like, learning how to fuck with words, grammatical mastery, having a wide vocabulary, a dynamic vocabulary, being able to manipulate words, because if you're able to manipulate words externally in such a way that's, like, articulate and able to portray ideas efficiently and effectively, that means you're able to do it in your head to yourself. And that means you're able to conceptualize things that most people can't. Most people don't have the words for, you know?
Right.
This is how I'm able to teach martial arts so efficiently, because I'm like, like, a lot of people would resort to parables, like first cut first. A lot of people would be like, just feel it. You just got to feel it. Just do it this way. A lot of people would be like, just keep swinging it this way until you get it. I'm like, all right, now the way you're doing it is like, imagine a shape and you see, like, kind of like a double helix shape. But when you point your toes outwards, that double helix shape shifts, and that's your optimal cutting pattern. And I'm able to communicate with the white boys in this way, and they finally get it. They're like, oh. And then I blow their minds when I'm like, see that two-dimensional imaginary shape that you're picturing for your optimal cutting pattern? That's an illusion. It's really a spiral. And they're like, oh, and I blow their minds even more. And I would never be able to do that without the vocabulary. The actual ability to analogize, to create metaphors like that, But then once you're able to do that, they realize like everything's connected. But you could do the same with mathematics probably. If you get deep enough into science, if you get deep enough into theology, you start connecting all the dots and you realize again, everything's fucking connected. This is just the sword section of the podcast too, and we're just getting. This is like not even the first full half.
I know. Well, you always have a lot to say about swords and swordsmanship.
Well, this is just metaphorical. Like I say in terms of tarot. Well, I don't want to spoil the formula, but you know what we're doing, and
yeah.
Well, the sword represents in the tarot deck. It represents
the swords.
What?
It represents the sword suite.
Yeah, but what does the suit represent?
Oh, you tell me. I forgot already.
Logic, intellect, reason, rationality.
Yeah.
Some say masculinity.
Well, that feels like a fitting overlap between swords and logic and rationality.
Yeah. Because the sword is nothing but rational and logical.
And solid and well made, yeah.
It's not like
phallic,
not like throwing a fist haphazardly out of anger and emotion. If you swing a sword, you do it with the full intention of what it's doing. No one swings a sword like completely out of just blind like reaction. People swing a sword. There's always first of all, there's a gravity of holding it, gripping it in your hand, and it's a sword compared to gripping a club or a broken bottle or a knife even. But a sword with its weight and its shape and its design and its geometry and its intention, like the built-in intention of it, it has a spirit to it, It's
built in a way that an axe or a spear is not.
Exactly.
And unlike those things, it is not being adapted from an existing field.
And just because you have a sword, doesn't mean you're safe. It just means you're dangerous.
Yes.
Which says a lot about what the practice of a sword. It takes discipline. It takes restraint. It also takes courage. It takes aggression. At least that's my take on swordsmanship, because I've done karate before, and that seems a lot more like, I don't want to say forgiving, because karate can still really maim you, but it's different. It's in a sense where I want to say karate is more visceral, but swordsmanship, sword fighting is definitely more like magical, instantaneous. Like how a gun, when the gun's first invented, like, you're telling me I could just pull a lever and a guy dies? Like, yeah.
You're not even pulling a lever. You're lighting a fuse for hundreds of years. It's lighting a fuse.
Yeah. Whereas with a sword, it's kind of like that, a step up from like, just punching a guy to death, and trying to like beat their brains until they stop moving. It's like with one swing, suddenly they're just disabled and they're bleeding and they're done.
Also, I mean, think about there was a long period of time when people would just have clubs for weapons. You see it when you look in Polynesia or the Americas. People are just using clubs. Did you know that when Europeans first arrived in North America, the natives were wearing wooden armor? They're all
you told me about that.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm repeating myself here. I want to imagine in the past, before the invention of the sword, people running around in Europe wearing wooden armor with clubs and spears and knives.
Yeah.
And that evolution, requires metalworking, requires bronze working to properly have a sword, which is still a side weapon. But that shift from an earlier Neolithic warfare. Go on. Sorry.
Okay, so what would you say is the reason behind the shifts? Like, what was the
I wonder if the fact that in the Bronze Age you had military units.
No. That's not the philosophy. That's the reason, the logical, material reason. I'm saying, what's the idea behind like having to constantly change means of killing? Like, what is it? What is the reason?
It's an arms race in response to defense, in response to organization. It's kind of like a meta of warfare.
But not always. Okay, so what is the... No, you're right. It is a meta of warfare. So what is the meta of warfare? Like in terms of just sheer principle of operating a weapon or operating a killing thing.
Like greater precision, less effort, more
effect. Less effort. So...
on side note, I want to imagine something here. In the Bronze Age, there was a lot of use of axes within the Near East and Europe in warfare. If people were wearing before they had widespread widespread bronze armor, if they were wearing wooden armor, perhaps it made sense to have axes. The common claim is that with copper originally and then bronze, you just weren't able to forge a large enough sharp piece of metal.
Sure. I mean, that's the economic reasoning behind it. That's also
and also swords. You can't make a copper sword. You can make a bronze sword, but
Yes.
both are
Great.
short versus ironworking and definitely steelworking.
Yeah.
All these are kind of meta things regarding the same lesson.
No, that's not
social
really meta.
lesson.
That's more material. The
Yeah.
meta, the real meta is how much effort are you expending to change destiny, not just for yourself, but collectively for, say, possibly a whole nation. Now, when
a Bronze Age warrior probably consumed more calories than like a fencer in 1500.
that's what I'm saying. It took how many punches to fucking change an empire, whereas it only took one swipe of a sword, which eventually it only takes one pull of a trigger, which to change the entire destiny of an empire. Whereas eventually that
the
turned
one
into
dropping of a bomb.
Yep. And then eventually it's going to turn into one idea spreading, one meme spreading, no bomb necessary, just spread the meme, and people are going to kill themselves slowly, but with little effort. You just watch, and they leave the infrastructure intact. Crazy, right? It's
Yeah.
really just about how much energy do you have to expend to change destiny.
All right, what's next on the docket? Was it something personal?
Don't worry about it. I'll direct it.
Nice. Sorry.
It wasn't personal, not yet. I think that's the last thing.
Oh.
But before then, it's creativity. So we're back, and we're talking about creativity. Basically, the direction that we could talk about things like what we're doing creatively individually, the direction that we want this podcast to go. We could play the song that I made.
Go ahead, play your song.
Let's do it. I wrote this song. It's an okay song, I think. It's not playing too loud, so we could do commentary.
Making my way down through the wasteland. Saw a little vixen and got you love to dance. Caught me off guard, boy I fell hard. Never knew the priestess would show up in cards. Feels like every day I'm thinking to myself, I could use another book up on my shelf. I don't need another woman in my life. Lord knows I've grown accustomed to the peace and quiet. Even if I could fool myself, I'm perfectly aware we're living in hell. Even if I could fulfill myself, I'm perfectly aware I need you as well. Even if I could fool myself, I'm perfectly aware we're living in hell. Even if I could content myself, I'm perfectly aware I'm under your spell. Early next day, she had made it away. Didn't even get a chance to ask her to stay.
It took 17 years to learn how to sing. Okayly.
Didn't spot a trace and she was nowhere to be found. Feels like every day I'm thinking to myself, I could use another book on my shelf. I don't need another woman in my life. Lord knows I've grown accustomed to the peace and quiet. Even if I could have fooled myself, I'm perfectly aware we're living in hell. Even if I could fulfill myself, I'm perfectly aware I need you as well. Even if I could have fooled myself, I'm perfectly aware we're living in hell. Even if I could content myself, I'm perfectly aware I'm under your spell.
Here's the bridge.
Excuse me.
Evil diminished chords. So what'd you think?
I like it.
It was a pretty earnest piece of art, I think.
Yeah. It's been a long time since you've written a song, right? And let alone written a song that was like an acoustic song as opposed to an EDM track.
Yeah, that's 100% true. What'd you think of it? How do you feel, how did the lyrics, like, not intellectually, but how did it make you feel emotionally?
Sad, mournful for a lost love, frustration with where being stuck in a certain place and time in life.
Did you also relate to the satisfaction of solitude?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. This is why I liked the lyrics that I wrote, because I realized I don't have to just, try to look cool. I could acknowledge that I feel conflicted about certain things.
Yeah.
Also, it's like, learning how to sing while you play. In ways, it's easier to learn how to sing that way, but you end up using your guitar as a crutch, which is what I do, compared to like real deal singers, who could just who have perfect pitch, who could do it by ear. I don't think I don't think that's what I want to do, though. I think I always want the guitar as my companion, because it's like my sword.
Yeah.
With an acoustic guitar, I feel like I have like a samurai sword in my hands, Whereas if I'm behind like Ableton or FL Studio, it's like I'm in command of a battleship.
Yeah. That very personal versus very large device.
Micro versus macro.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will say this. There's a really good quote from this movie called The Family Fang.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie. It's worth a watch. I think you'd like it.
What is it? When is it from?
Some point in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Starring Jason Bateman. It stars the whole family. Jason Bateman, Christopher Walken. I forgot who the women were. That's probably very sexist of me. But it's a brother and sister with a mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents were like these cult famous performance artists. And they would do like elaborate bank robberies that were just staged performances, and they would get the kids involved, and people would think it was so real, and at the end of it they would take a bow. It's like, we just encourage you to live life, blah blah blah. But one quote really
Is it a Wes Anderson riffing movie, or
Look
like
it up.
is it influenced by him? Not directed by, but
It was
imitating.
a good what surprised me about the movie was how insightful it was about art. The Family Fang. Oh shit! Fuck, Nicole Kidman. Yeah, this was
looks like a Alexander Payne movie. Scroll down.
God, I realized I forgot how much I was in
Jason
love
Bateman. Okay. So much in love with what?
with Nicole Kidman. She's so hot.
Yeah.
She's like Taylor Swift without the junk. What Taylor Swift should have been. Maybe Taylor Swift is just a clone of Nicole Kidman.
I don't know. She's not my type, but I can see the sex appeal of her.
All right, so there was a point in the movie where Christopher Walken was his character was explaining like his experiences being an art student, and they were trying to describe artistic performance, and he smashes a glass into the concrete patio, and his wife was saying, "So shocked," and he was like, "See, that's art." And then he points to the pile of broken glass and he's like, "That's not art. That's a ghost. It's dead, like your photographs and your records and your paintings." So I'm saying this kind of explains why, this is alluding to why I'm leaning away from like EDM and more towards like, I've come to really value like not having to pump out overproduced, perfectly produced shit, and just the
Something
ability
that's raw, that just plays naturally.
the ability to pick up my fucking guitar and just play my own song,
Yeah.
And especially with AI like pervading music practices, and everyone's like scared shitless, and I'm like, I'm not scared. None of this shit is ever going to stop me from picking up my fucking guitar and writing a song.
AI can antiquate EDM very easily, but not an actual human performance.
Yes.
An actual guitar and acoustic performance
Yes.
can't be antiquated by AI.
This is why all these artists that are threatened by AI, I'm like, you're not real artists. You're not.
I mean, like, any major pop actor, Taylor Swift, your Beyonce, they all have huge teams behind every song.
Exactly. So they're not scared, but
No, but they're also effectively already being written by AI.
yeah. Meanwhile, the actual Taylor Swifts and the Drakes and the Weekends, like their brand is already gonna out. Like AI is just gonna mimic them. You know.
Yeah. They've already set the formula or the model
Yeah.
for an AI to follow.
But for me, I couldn't give two fucks. Like if you want, like if I wanted to, like if AI is making a lot of like blues pop songs, I'm just gonna make a punk song. And if AI suddenly starts to like make punk songs, I'm gonna show people I'm gonna make a rap song. You know, if like suddenly AI starts producing like hip hop and rap, it's like, all right, I'm just gonna make EDM now.
You know, something that's most noteworthy about AI is its use for comedy, even if it gets overplayed.
You're right.
Like,
That's when you know the trend
here's
is
someone
dying.
who's really threatened, vaguely a type of person threatened by AI a lot.
What?
Is if you were to just do like song parodies, you can run through AI very quickly and staple together a Weird Al style parody of a pop song, right? Where you're just swapping out the lyrics for something that rhymes and is humorous. Something like that feels like can easily be replicated by AI. Or something like drawing a wacky image. Someone who previously you had to be fairly competent to like Photoshop together a funny image composition as like a quick run-off joke, and you can just punch into AI. I don't know, Mario in a courtroom being presided over by Godzilla as judge. Those kind of
Yeah,
compositions.
but that's video, not song. Song is different than video.
Yeah, that's very true. I was saying that and still image, like a funny still image, a funny Photoshop,
Alright.
the ability to do that fades rapidly in the face of
No,
AI.
no. Because no matter what, there's funny music that parodies, which is funny. Okay, I give it that. There's a plenty of parody songs that I love. But there's funny songs that are not parodies, that are originally funny, like Wesley Willis, or I showed you Young Butt Piss. Like, yeah, it was
I wouldn't call it funny, but yes.
I think it's fucking hilarious. The fact that it's music that legit pisses people off. It's produced on Spotify and it's fucking, you know.
It's outsider art in a Ferdy got fingered kind of way.
But what about Wesley Willis? Like Rock and Roll McDonald's?
Not familiar.
You never heard that?
No.
I gotta show you after because it's definitely gonna get a hit on copyright. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, when we're
But
driving home,
it's like it's the kind of funny music that's not parodying anything. It's legit like this is fucking hilarious. Like
fair.
which is hard to do. It's very hard to do. It's hard to make earnestly funny original music, if you ask me.
Serious question. How often do you laugh at some nonsensical image generated by AI or video? I have to admit it happens more often than it should. Like those videos of fat women throwing a rock onto a glass bridge.
It happens-
Those make me cackle. Or
Dude,
they did when they first
It
came out.
happens a lot more often now than it did before.
Yeah.
Because I never saw like random videos like Sora videos where it's like I see like what's like a realistic Olympic event. You see like women from different nationalities in their Olympic bathing suits and they're washing dishes.
Yeah.
And they're like,
You know, I
"Oh
saw a
my
video
God."
of that photo of a Hasidic Jew talking on a large cell phone, and he drops his cell phone, tears off his beard and hat, and he's a white, blonde, blue-eyed Aryan.
That's
and
so
I laughed hysterically at it. I hate to say it, but this purely AI generated thing made me laugh way more than any joke or movie I've seen recently.
I have a
Movie comedies just feel so lame compared to random insane internet shit. My own son literally blowing Barack Obama. Dad, no, you've been one-shot by AI. Your boom mind has no defense for this. Wait.
you just get blown away.
This
is a great great meme.
This conservator dad bothered by an image of his son blowing Barack Obama.
To the point where he shoots him in the face. Dad, no, you've been one-shotted by AI. Your boomer mind has no defense for this. What? Done.
Mm-hmm.
What a way to go. Honestly, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
This is the future that awaits us all.
Yeah. So wait, on Facebook you post a lot of screenshots of Twitter?
No. My favorite thing to do on Facebook is to write.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what you do on Twitter.
That's true.
Speaking of which, let's pull that up.
Ah, yes, always fills time.
Well, it is kind of creative in a sense, and this is kind of leading what I really want to talk about, which is like the next thing, the next project for Terrorisk, which is just a video essay. I just want you to
Right.
write. I just want you to give me
Yeah.
like
I'll give you a video essay because I'm already generating this time.
about something cultural or political, which I think you could
Excuse
do.
me.
But I have to pick the topic. If I tell you to pick the topic, you're gonna take fucking forever.
That's true. You need to pick the topic. Yeah.
I've never seen a male living space with an emergency blanket as the only bedding. No, there was a really funny one that I liked that you posted before. Fuck, it was because the one I couldn't tell if you were like, oh yeah, if Kamala had won, we'd have.
Go ahead, take your time and read this.
If Kamala had won, we'd have raw dog walking parks by now where gay furries would take their slaves to fuck in front of public schools on your tax dollars. And I thought that was hilarious because I was like, you can't tell if he's like upset or relieved. You know, it's like it could go either way. It's like, oh, thank God this isn't the case. Or it's like, oh, God damn it.
No.
This could have been amazing. So yeah, that's a good one.
I was really fond of combining raw dog and dog walking parks. Raw dog walking parks.
Yeah. But you know, that was kind of foreshadowing, you know, in terms of fate, because what's the most like on Twitter, like what's the most politically hot topic at this point? It's fucking some American Turkish fucking leftist streamer shot collaring his dog. And like that's literally the most political thing we could write about if I were to like, just like assign that to you. It's like, yo, just give me like fucking 3 to 6 paragraphs about Hassan Piker, fucking the morality of it, the idea behind it. And it's like, I guess we could workshop that now. I mean, Hassan Piker shot collaring his dog. I mean, it's not the fact that he did it; it's the fact that he tried to like lie about it or like play it up.
Nonchalant he is about it. Well, you tell me what you think. I don't have any strong opinions on it besides it seeming
All right,
psychopathic.
so it's like my take is this: like, just imagine.
Did he remove the prongs from the shock collar so it was just direct? Because you remember on the 4th of July, I applied a shock collar to myself.
You know what
So
it
I
would
was
be like? It would
curious
be
what
like
it felt
this. Like, let's say this. Like, let's say even for all you like viewers of the podcast, like just picture this. Like, let's say we were doing a podcast as normal, you know, and you were just watching a regular episode. And when Carmen's like, hold on, I gotta piss. And I was like, wait, hold up. And then instead I took my finger and flicked him right at the tip of his dick as hard as I could perfectly. And I was like, no, stay. You're not gonna piss until we're done. Like, how would you feel as the viewer if I did that? Wouldn't you be horrified? Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't you be like, this
It also
is
feels like you're about to start watching gay porn.
exactly like Hassan was like, what do you
So,
do? What do
especially,
you
yeah,
do to
what,
this
you're
dog?
expecting him to start fucking his dog.
Imagine that. I mean, you could add that.
I mean, if
here.
he's shocking his dog, wouldn't he have done it a bunch of times before? Maybe he probably has been doing
He
it.
does it all the time. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why people are so, you know, like in a tizzy about it, because they know he's an animal abuser. And you look at his political narratives and you're like, okay, there's no way he's not an animal abuser. Like, he's basically a fascist, despite
I
his.
don't know, him as this person who's emphasizing compassion or whatever and liberal politics.
Not true. He's a
Yeah.
violent fucking narrative pusher. He's all about like, yo, we gotta kill these people. He's always saying that. He's like, yes, I encourage you to do what Luigi Mangione did. Like, that's what Hassan Piker's all about. Making actual change.
And you know another thing, you could never put a shock collar on Hassan Piker because he would just slip it off his tiny head. You could just, no matter how tight you make it, it'll just whoop, it'll go right off because of his tiny little head.
I know he pulls bitches. I know he gets a lot. He fucks a lot.
Yeah.
He fucks a lot.
How many do you think he's fucked men, and how many trans women do you think he's fucked?
I don't think he's fucked, man.
Trans women?
I don't think he's fucked trans women. I don't think
Okay, fair.
I don't think he's like that far gone.
Because he's a left winger too. If he was a right winger, he would have fucked guys and trans women. But because he's a leftist, he's purely heterosexual. The left is full of straight guys pretending to be gay, and the right is filled with gay guys.
Asking if Hassan
straight.
Piker ever fucked a trans woman is like asking if Adam Friedland ever fucked a trans woman. I mean, you would think so, but if you really think about
Actually,
it,
probably not. Whereas any I keep repeating myself. Any right wing guy probably has.
there you go. Yeah.
But you're right. The left wing guys, also because they're left wingers, they never get so desperate as to fuck men.
I think the
They can
smart
get-
I think the smart left wingers are all like, that's what they want me to do, so I'm not going to do it.
Mm.
Even though they have no problems doing it because they say over and over again, I have no problems doing it, but it's like, this is what the opposition wants. Yeah, but fucking this is just more material. I'm sure you could bust this out in like a night. Like, just do it on your phone even, because that's the most comfortable writing apparatus for you probably. Just pull up a nice decent note taking app. I bet you haven't even invested in a good note taking app, which is very bad form for a Twitter addict.
Yeah, you're right. It is. I have some free app programs that I barely use.
Yeah,
If I did, it would help a lot.
exactly. You probably, yeah. Anyway,
You're right. As a phone actor, it is my primary writing.
we could write about Hassan Piker. It's just we should wait, maybe, I don't know, to do the thing. I'll wait for the next topic, the right one. Something's gonna happen where I'm like, Carmen could get all over this, like white on rice. And imagine something happens in China, and I'm like, yo, Carmen, get on this, like white on rice.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it doesn't have to be political. It could be cultural. Like how you feel about, I don't know, like Christianity in America, which is actually, I feel like everyone has an interesting take on that, whether you're black, white, red, yellow, brown. This is how the Christians affected me in America.
I don't know. Many big portions of America are in a post-Christian world. That's worth mentioning. A lot of Americans, mostly myself included, don't have a very heavy cultural influence of Christianity. Though if you live in the South, the Midwest, you certainly do.
Yeah. But it does, I mean, that's the problem, right? Especially when it comes to like artistic output. Religion does influence the kind of art we're, as the consumer, are forced to consume. Which is why, I mean, this ties back to being the Renaissance man, right? Because I'm like, don't just be the consumer, don't just be the producer, don't just be the warrior, don't just be the healer, don't just be the...
Be everything.
Or you realize being yourself is being everything. Especially
You
in
fulfill all these archetypes. If you
especially
just
in a
be
world
yourself.
especially in a world to study to be like a doctor. You know, back in like the Middle Ages, you had to go through tomes upon tomes and go to the source of the story. Oh, it's like, oh, you have to go to that tome stored in this archive in this land somewhere. It's like, now it's like, bro, I got a computer and the internet, I can just pull it up. But the real problem is like, I just know that there are some dumb fucks out there in my own life where if they were chilling in a group and one of them got like poison ivy, it's like, my arm's itching, I think I got poison ivy. It's like none of them would think to look at Google, you know, and like,
Fuck. You have to be that dumb. Yeah, it's crazy.
it's fucked up.
Or ChatGPT, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to humanity's benefit, I would say that, like, you know, at least when it comes to direction, people are now programmed to be like, well, I could just Google map this, which is true. We're
It's a
probably
huge achievement of human civilization. Google Maps is one of the greatest achievements of human civilization.
you're right.
Like it's an insane, yeah, in a bunch of ways things aren't sci-fi, but Google Maps is a sci-fi achievement. Like Google Maps goes beyond
It's an
anything
underrated,
in Blade Runner.
It's underrated for sure, because like, I mean, I was alive for like MapQuest days, and those are dark days.
Remember when you didn't even have MapQuest? You just had paper maps
Yeah.
and no map at all.
Yeah. Or you just lived in New York City your whole. That's probably why people were less reluctant to like leave their fucking cities like back in the 90s, because they were like, but once like, you know, the internet came into the picture, people were like, fuck it, I could just, you know, I could figure my way around, you know. Very interesting. We could write about that. That's something to write about, like, you know.
I remember being a child and my dad getting lost and trying to navigate by maps on car rides. My mom stressed out.
Dude, this is
Man,
all good stuff.
My little brother being like a baby or toddler
Fighting was like, are we
crying.
there yet?
I was just like reading a book or playing a video game and just concerned and trying to reassure my mom or trying to help my dad.
Now, if you were in your dad's position with the two boys and the wife, like, it's like, oh yeah, what does the Google map say? You know.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
most catastrophic thing will be like a satellite goes down and the world ends, and it's like suddenly you don't have access to GPS anymore. But you know, like by then you have bigger problems. But yeah, point being, yeah, it's that is like a super high tech underrated achievement of humanity that probably drastically changed our lives right under our noses. That people to this day are still kind of unacknowledging about, like ignorant about. Mm. That's a cool thing to write about, actually. How basically it changed our culture. It acted as that technology acted as an accelerant. But you know what? All the accelerant technologies were already controlled by the government well before it was in the hands of the public. Like DARPA gave us the internet. DARPA probably also gave. I'm pretty sure DARPA gave us GPS.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is downstream of GPS, or GPS is downstream of it.
Yeah.
But it goes way beyond what DARPA was doing previously.
Yeah. Well, that's true too. I mean, once they started differentiating between like SIG and
Yeah, when the internet went mainstream, a huge portion. There was an internet before the World Wide Web, but it was lacking. I mean, a small little section had the qualities, but it was probably lacking the variety and range of public widespread internet use.
you know the different dimensions of like intelligence, right?
Mhm.
Like when it comes to gathering data and intelligence, there's SIGINT, signal intelligence, human intelligence, and rumor intelligence. SIGINT is the most novel one because signal intelligence requires technology swapping data, swapping recordable data and recordable information. But it's a natural occurrence. It's a natural byproduct of like, say, one transmitter and one relay from at any distance. It's going to create a bridge of data, over some frequency or radio frequency or whatever, and it's always going to be possible to intercept that and harvest it. So signal intelligence was basically birthed with the technology. And once that was acknowledged, once that was determined, and once the government was able to fully harness it and understand all the dimensions of the SIGINT, signal intelligence, then they let it out into the public because it only benefited them, because they realized signal intelligence for us only gets stronger when everyone else contributes to the signal. I mean, I'm still fascinated by the other dimensions of intelligence as well. Like human intelligence is great. It's like where you could just observe a person, observe their habits, and that'll tell you everything you need to know just to get into like the most secure place in the world, for example. Humans are like the weakest link in any security system. On top of that, like humans, like based on archetypes, like archetypal habits, you could also like seduce the person you want. It's like, I really like this girl, like who she is, like on her soul level, but I know she's a person and people are predictable. Like once you know these things, it's kind of like almost unethical, in terms of like your capacity to seduce people. That's the benefit of human intelligence. And rumor intelligence is also valuable because that's the shit that goes off the record. That's the shit that exists in people's like private and secret lives, That's the shit that has to be confirmed through the other two, signal intelligence and human intelligence, through raw observation of human behavior and raw observation of transmitted and received data. I don't know how I know this shit, but maybe I just
Well, I'm
watched.
sure you just read about it and recalled it because it's of interest to you.
I just probably read too many like Tom Clancy books, played too much Metal Gear Solid. I really like
tactical military
espionage.
military espionage.
I love
has a
I love
thriller quality.
because it's such an abstract, not just asymmetrical.
You love the terminology of it. I'm sure you would get along great with guys working in intelligence.
No. I mean, it's probably, but what
If we went to bars in DC, you would probably find a bunch of guys that were very interested in talking to you.
what I really appreciate is the fact that you're telling me that I could not even kill myself, but arrange the disappearance of one person to save the lives of like 10,000. And it's like, yeah, that's great. But what also fascinates me is, what if that one life that you take to save like, say, thousands more happens to be like a 3-year-old child, like the child of a Shah, of Iran or something. It's like, can you do that? And is it worth it? And
Shah of Iran, so back in the 1960s. But
this is definitely another thing to write about. Hell, you could write songs about this. You could paint paintings about this. But yeah, it's that idea of like asymmetrical warfare requires asymmetrical sacrifices. Which is why like these intelligence agencies are so secretive, because they're doing taboos every single fucking day as far as humanity is concerned. They're taking lives, they're exploiting lives, they're functioning off greed, they're exploiting greed in others. Like they're on the dark side. And then to them, they're like, we're doing it for the greater good. We're doing it to preserve America. But what does that mean for America that they're preserving? Then we just become a byproduct of the foundation of evil. And yet this is apparently on the highest echelons. This is what's going on. This is what keeps our country going. Like to the extent that none of us can know about it. Like, yeah, we arrange our enemies to meet with 14-year-old prostitutes so we could get them in a compromising position, so we could grab the bigger enemy, so we could exploit them, not to kill them or bring them to justice, but to bring them under our control. Because they know they could save more lives that way. Pure logistics. Crazy, right? Like that's the kind of shit that our own government is doing. That's definitely something to write about. You ever think about this shit?
Yeah.
I mean,
I was thinking about taboo violation earlier. A benefit of living
a benefit of living
in a more homophobic society is that all the taboo breaking high-end rituals just involve gay sex between presumably adults. When you make homosexuality normalized, it's no longer taboo and they have to move on to kids. Or as a tweet I once made said, if you break down the taboo against pedophilia, our elites are just going to go to Minstrel Show Island, where Jeffrey Epstein equivalent, the Jeffrey Jackson, just paints a bunch of elites' faces with blackface and makes them do racist caricatures.
But the thing about what you're saying is you're viewing taboo as like kind of a collective monolith. It's not, taboo doesn't work like that. One person's psychological Hiroshima is another person's like Tuesday afternoon. Taboo is relative.
Somewhat culturally determined, or there's taboos for different societies.
It's relative.
Yeah.
To the individual, ultimately.
How would you feel about me saying traditionally it was relative to the society, but now it's relative to the individual?
I would say that's pretty on point, especially nowadays, but that's even scarier than being relative to the society, you know? Because then there's no limits. But this is exactly what I was talking about. When everyone's ontological bedrock just shatters, like the bedrock of reality just collapses from beneath them. That's the byproduct of it. That's one of the things that happens, is where like your sense of taboo, your sense of like, you know, true transgression is just completely different from literally every single person in the world. And that scares the shit out of you, especially if you have kids, a family. You know, like I have nothing but sympathy for my friends with kids, but that's all it is. It's just sympathy.
Well, you feel like you have protection from being a single man. I mean, you do.
Well, yeah, that's one way to put it, but I also feel like I have less karma from not having children, not having a wife.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's just logistical. It's like
less things are accreted.
Yeah, less. I'm you know, within the effects of cause and effect, within the chain of cause and effect, I'm creating less ripples. You know.
Yeah, you're more karmically, environmentally conscious. Environmentally conscious.
If I fuck up, I'm not dragging any kids or a wife down with me. You know.
Yeah.
That's what I care more about. That's what I'm more afraid about. Not marrying or being more miserable or marrying. No, it's I don't want to drag people down with me if I make the wrong decision, because I want to take risks. You know, like.
You're very consciously choosing to be a single man and aware of what it entails.
Of 100%. I'm not just doing it because like I'm scared of the No, I've tried the opposite, and I could have made it work. It's just there was other things I wanted to do that I don't think is right to do when you have a family,
or even just having a relationship and bringing someone else along or joined with them.
100%, because it's like, you know, if I speak for myself, whatever. Don't get me wrong, like I still have those moments where it's like, you know, two ships passing in the night. You know, it's like okay, but it's never gonna be like at this point until like I'm done. But I don't think I'm ever gonna be done, which is okay by me. You know, I have siblings; they could carry on the family line. I don't have to worry about that shit. You know, like I said something earlier before
What's that?
to my friend who identified with it as well. I said I would be the last soul in Samsara, like the last player in an MMO before they shut the server down.
Yeah.
You know, I've always liked that idea, and I feel the same way about Samsara. It's like if we all have to play this game, like I don't want to leave anyone behind. And I was saying, I also posted once in a status. I was like, I'm a huge fan of the in a thematic way. Like I'm a huge fan of going down with the ship
Yeah.
because you get to say that you got to before everyone else let something go. You stuck with it all the way through, right? And that means you have a one of a kind experience and insight. And also, you never leave anyone behind. So that's like really good metaphysical pluses of going down with the ship. What do you think of that?
I'm just imagining being one of the last people or the last person at this sparkling, futuristic, fully automated world. As everyone else has reached enlightenment and they're just snuffed out, you're still around, feeling like it's almost there.
Yeah. There was actually a
There was actually a good short story about being the last unenlightened man. I'll send it to you.
yeah, no, when he said when I said like that's what I would do and someone else identified with that, he sent a link to this idea of I think it was like a Buddha or something. That fuck, I gotta find it. I'll find it. It was here. Oh, and also passing by this guy, Professor Jiang. He's like this Chinese guy. I kind of don't trust him. He's still interesting though. Let's see.
Not really in any group chats anymore. It's an interesting phenomenon in my life. I used to be in a lot of them, and now I'm not in any.
All right, here we go. You want to read this in your best reading voice?
Give me a second.
I'll read it.
Now I can go over on. Ksitigarbha, Bodhisattva primarily revered in East Asian Buddhism and usually depicted as a Buddhist monk. His name may be translated as Earth Treasury, Earth Store, Earth Matrix, or Earth Womb. Ksitigarbha is known for his vow to take responsibility for the instruction of all beings in the six worlds between the death of Gautama Buddha and the rise of Maitreya, as well as his vow not to achieve Buddhahood until all hells are emptied. He is therefore often regarded as the Bodhisattva of hell beings, as well as the guardian of children, patron saint, patron deity of deceased children and aborted fetuses in Japanese culture. By the way, I love how in Japan they have abortions, but they have rituals attached to
Because
the
they know the
souls.
babies that are going to be.
I've always found that's the best way of dealing with abortion. Usually depicted as a monk with either a halo or a crown bearing images of the five Tathagatas around his shaved head. He carries a staff to force open the gates of hell and a wish-fulfilling jewel to light up the darkness.
Yep. And
How would you pronounce his name, Chris?
I have no idea, but like I only said
Ksitigarbha?
once I made that little quip, like I would be the last soul on Samsara, just to, just to say I got to be the last one, and so everyone else could go before me. And he was like, and in the stream that I did with him later, he's like, I think you're like the reincarnation of this Buddha, and I was like,
It's interesting because it looks like the Japanese. Let's see, Jizang, Jijang, Dai Cheng,
Xijang.
yeah.
I don't know. It's like the one who eats all the sins of others, and it's like, hey, it's okay. I'll eat it, and then I'll
Can you
transmute
Google the
it.
pronunciation of his name?
In what? In Korean?
I guess in Sanskrit or English, whatever we're reading off of.
Tsikarba.
Yeah.
Chikarba. Tsikarba.
Add an A, and then pronunciation.
Wait, A?
Yeah.
Shit. All right, that's it. Okay. Cigarva.
Punctuation.
Phonetic, you mean? That's okay. How do you... This is perfect. Dharmawheel.net has to verify that I'm human. That's fair enough. I mean... Oh, wait. Wow, it's a message board. There's a whole forum. Well, there's a whole message.
How old-fashioned? What years are these posts? Oh. These are all posts from 14 years ago, so of course it's still a message board. That's fascinating.
And it's accurate. More accurate, probably.
Yes, definitely. Probably more interesting.
Yeah. How do they pronounce it? Oh, Cheetah Garba. Oh, it's Cheetah. Cheetah Gaba. Cheetah Gaba. Cheetah Gaba. Okay.
Okay.
Cheetah Gaba. Oh, wow. See, the message boards really pull through.
Yeah, in a way that AI definitely, you're not sure, or the auto-generate things off of Google are just
AI would
bullshit.
never say cheetah, like this, like spell
Yeah.
it like Cheetah Garba. And I'm like,
Cheetah Gaba makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
actually, looking
Shit.
at the word now.
I'm more thankful to this random.
Yeah, same. Because this is why this is something I know you were talking about nostalgia being foolish, whatever. I miss having these kind of message boards.
Well, Reddit. Blame Reddit.
Yeah,
Reddit
blame
is-
Reddit, blame the change of the internet, how there's only like 8 sites
Nah,
now.
Reddit really ate this shit. Like, honestly, it ate it up. Because besides this, there was 4chan. But 4chan is like...
It's a particular different kind of subcultural community. And it's ephemeral in a way by design that these kind of message boards are not.
Yeah. And they'll like, that's the kind of place where they'll specifically tell you the wrong way to pronounce it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Reddit is probably took over all the message board glory. So wait, let me ask you: Do you would you say that you believe in God? I think you
Yeah.
Shit, that's why you're the happiest one in the apartment, probably.
Yeah, probably. God, that's not saying much, but yeah.
No, I mean it does say a lot because like what it tells you is that it's real. Like, I mean, look, I hated my name, Christopher. It was such a cumbersome name, but it wasn't only. In retrospect, I'm thinking it's possible that maybe the name protected me.
Maybe.
Maybe your open-mindedness to higher powers protects you.
Maybe.
Actually, I think it's a certainty. I mean, honestly, like, usually the people where the worst shit is happening to them, their minds aren't really open to higher powers. Or if they are, they're like, God hates me.
Yeah.
Which means they're not really open to higher powers because they think they're fucking so special where God hates them specifically, That's why I hate the black pill Groyper shit.
Yeah. It's just very tiresome, too, the nihilism.
It's more fucked up than that because they do offer like mutual support for their peers, but there's like nothing.
It's a community, but it's a terrible community.
But
It's a
there's
negative
nothing at its
community.
core except punishing them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we'll support you just so you stay alive long enough for us to abuse you.
It has a very...
Poignant-
It has a feeling of a post-apocalyptic gang among the ruins of a city, but instead it's online.
That's why they're really offended by people like me when I say actually things are pretty good, and then they're like, oh blah blah blah, or it's like, oh, I'm just gonna stay silent and I'm gonna subtly like a bunch of memes that are black pilled and more reflective of the wasteland, and I'm like, God,
Yeah.
those are the people that I want to get to, not because I hate them, but because I want to save them. I'm
Yeah.
like, you guys are capable of so much if you just be more gratitude.
Yeah.
Why can't they just be more gratitude? Because it would fix everything. I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna get them laid. I'm
Right.
not saying it's gonna get them their happy white picket family. I'm not saying it's gonna bring the times back to like the Bronze Age. But I am saying that it's gonna make them feel a lot better about shit and make better decisions and treat themselves better and by default treat others better. What else do you need? Like, seriously, how fucking pathological are you after that? Like, honestly, what else do you need after that? If you need anything after that, where it's like, I need vengeance on this person, I need justice for this thing that happened to me. No, you've gone too far.
Also, it's very much a LARP nowadays.
Exactly.
It was different in the Bronze Age, a lot closer. Things are a lot more physically real, but today it's a lot more distant.
Or it was different when, like, you know,
Yeah,
men were
it's
still
scarcity. What?
men were still getting divorced by wholesale records, and you know they lose everything and blah blah blah, and the red pill shit and the black pill, which led to the black pill and all that shit. Yeah, I get it. That was real. That really happened, but times have changed. It's all water under the bridge. I'm sorry to say. You know, like, I'm sorry to say to the red pill community, to the pickup artist community, to the black pill community, to the incel community, all you fucking sad motherfuckers. It's over. The damage is done. They're still living in the nuclear blast. The nuclear blast is long past.
And it's interesting. All that stuff came out in like the mid-aughts or like early 2010s, and
And the blast was happening.
or it had happened in the 60s or 70s in particular, widespread.
And now it's fucking over, and it's time to get over that shit. It's time to practice gratitude. Just be grateful you
Gratitude.
survived it, you motherfuckers. Why are black people? Especially the elder black pillars? You should be ashamed of yourselves. Like, how? Like,
You're just trying to mentally molest younger guys.
you motherfuckers survived.
Yeah.
You know how I know how many of your friends died. The
Yeah.
elder black pillars, they're dead. Most of them. The ones that are left are probably just so pickled by hatred. You know, like Elliot Rogers that just didn't have the sense to get themselves killed. You know,
Elliot Rodger as being the what was the guy from The Doors? Who was this?
Morrison?
Yeah, Elliot Rodger was the Jim Morrison of Black Pillar incels.
Like
He
an-
died young and beautiful.
Yeah, but Jim Morrison was like a CIA plant.
Yeah.
There you go. Elliot Rodger was probably a CIA plant.
CIA plan to infect society with incel ideology.
Yep. To show you that even murderous incels can be capable of fantastic works of literature. Honestly, like that
Yeah.
shit was my twisted world is fucking.
It's a fascinating
Mwah.
look at a guy's psychology.
I mean, like, people talk
I'm
about.
curious what other things this young Hui Cho create or write that were never shown to the public.
The
Because
Virginia Tech shooter.
Yeah, because he sent a bunch of stuff to CNN and 2, and like they blocked the release of
You're
it.
thinking about it the wrong way. You're thinking about, like, what did he write? No, I'm thinking about, I want to see his fucking KD ratio in Counter-Strike.
Oh, very
That's his
true.
art. That's his
That
fucking.
would be fascinating to see. You're right.
That's his manifesto.
Imagine his internet posts throughout time.
Or his, like, chat history in Counter-Strike. Like,
I wonder, you know, something I've noticed with older millennials or older internet guys is that they're very hesitant to talk about the years they spent online or the people they knew online. They're like embarrassed by it or scared. Are there a bunch of people out there that were friends with Suyong Hui Cho online? And
100%.
And they knew he did the shootings, and they never said it. I bet a lot of spree
do you
shooters
think he learned?
have,
He didn't learn how to shoot in the military.
Yeah.
He didn't learn how to shoot like John Wick, like shit. No, he was a gamer.
Yeah.
100% a gamer. And he probably, aside from gaming, he probably also
Went to the range.
Yeah. But he wasn't a military guy. Like, he was a gamer.
Well, I wonder actually if
He was a proto gamer school shooter.
I mean, this connection was made with Eric and Dylan. Dylan Harris and Eric Cull.
Yeah, but he was way more talented. I mean, I'm not saying it's as good to shoot people in schools. I'm just
No,
saying.
he was more talented, but Columbine were the most mimetically powerful.
Yes, I'm not gonna lie. There,
It was an incredible terrorist act.
It's
That
like,
these
you know-
two teenagers in Colorado created an entire deranged social phenomena in America.
You know what it is? It's like comparing, like, you know, in like the Olympics, like
Yeah.
the Russian figure skater versus the German figure skater. Like, the German figure skater technically has everything down on point, but the Russian figure skater just melts your heart. You know,
Yeah.
they're just a little less technical. However, they're a little more passionate. So it's like, yeah, like I feel like the Columbine was like more like Russia.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like Virginia Tech was more like Germany in terms of figure skating. Am I wrong? Like, you know, like
Yeah. I mean, the tremendous death toll of the Las Vegas shooter, Stephen Paddock, is there's a lot saying that he wasn't acting alone or it wasn't him doing the shooting. But if it was in fact him,
Who's Paddock? Who did
the Las Vegas
Oh,
shooter. That's like 50 plus dead.
Dude,
200
that
wounded.
guy was probably the best shooter of all time in America.
It's insane that like a boomer said, "Let me show you punk kids how I do it."
And the craziest thing is, like, we never talk about it. We only talk about these other fucking idiots. Meanwhile, this guy is.
Yeah, I mean, he was. It's embarrassing that this old man with no prior street shooting experience just blew everyone out of the water and killed death ratio.
He did it the best way possible. Like, he went in a hotel. He probably ordered room service at some, or he probably at least.
He probably had thought this out or planned it out, and he's less emotional and dumb than most school shooters, so
right.
he pulled it off with perfect accuracy.
So let me ask you, like, let's empathize.
How
a
many
bit.
people were wounded in Las Vegas due to the human crush?
Wait, what? Oh,
Like people stampeding each other. Yeah.
Someone probably died that way.
Yeah, so he probably was deliberate. That's the kind of thing my dad would have mentioned.
Or how
as-
many people did he shoot in like the thigh in a major artery and they just bled out for like 60 something seconds?
Well, they would be counting it as deaths, but yeah.
But still, that must have been like, while
Yeah.
getting trampled. Like,
Ooh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, fuck.
what a way to go. But I'm saying, like, let's say you're Paddock, right?
Yeah.
You walk into this Vegas thing. You already have your cargo up there. You got the bellboys to put two suspiciously.
The people saying like, "Oh, how did he get up there?" is so stupid because
Yeah.
like he was a regular at the hotel.
Yeah.
He doesn't even he probably could slip a 50 to the bellboys and they would carry.
This is
all
pretty
his shit
heavy,
up.
sir. What do you got in here? Oh, just some equipment, camera equipment. Trying
Yeah.
to make some pornos. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, wink, wink. Anyway, you're Paddock. You got your shit up, and then you finally like go to the bar like before you get up to the elevator, and then you realize you have time for one drink before you do the big.
I love the
act.
fact that one of the only photos of him is with his Filipino wife, and he's clearly wasted and holding a shot.
So, what would be your drink if you were about to engage in this behavior?
The last drink I ever have, I would have like a jungle bird, maybe made with like an older Zacapa
All right.
or Smith and Cross. I'd have it made with Smith and Cross, which is an overproof Jamaican rum.
I think I would have a tequila old fashioned made with Jose Cuervo, Patron. Actually, not Jose Cuervo. I would make it with Patron.
Thank God,
All right.
man. Jose Cuervo sucks.
Okay.
Well, wait, if you don't do that, why
Look,
not
can I
do
finish the drink?
Do Clase Azul. Go on.
Anyway, tequila old fashioned with Patron, with a splash of beer and a chili garnish. And I would just shoot that back, and I'm saying, I'm ready to shoot this Las Vegas crowd.
Yeah.
And like, imagine empathizing with the law enforcement because like they're the Las Vegas police. Like they're like, dude, we have rocket launchers. We shoot at this guy, but we can't blow up this hotel. So it was probably mad easy to like subdue this guy. Honestly,
I think he just shot himself before they came in.
Oh yeah, he did kill himself. It
Yeah.
was a suicide.
Yeah.
What a badass.
Yeah. And imagine it's all just because he hated country music. But apparently he didn't hate country music, which is insane.
You know what was perfect?
If he had hated country music, it would have made sense. But apparently he had no qualms with it.
What was perfect is he's like the opposite of a school shooter, where it's like the venue, the specific crowd he shot at would be the least likely to have children. You know, late night Vegas crowd.
No, they probably have kids. There's probably a bunch of people with kids there.
Not really.
No, Vegas attracts a lot of middle Americans and like Republicans as like a tourist destination.
Did he shoot any kids?
There's no kids at the events, but I'm sure a bunch of people did have kids.
Yeah, I'm saying, did he shoot any kids though?
No, because it was like an 18 or 21.
That's what I'm
plus
saying.
show.
Like he picked the perfect fucking.
Oh, as opposed to a school where there would be kids there that he'd be killing directly.
Exactly.
He didn't kill any kids directly. He definitely killed people who had kids because it's like a red state coded thing.
100%.
You know, if you shoot up an indie music concert, it's very likely no one who dies has a kid. Maybe nowadays you'll have a few old heads that do. They're all old heads that do, but yeah.
Or a Haitian concert.
Yeah, if I shoot up like a dance hall concert, there's a bunch of kids that are going to be orphaned from it. But already their dads weren't in the picture anyway, so what's the difference?
My God. Do you think the Paddock was MK Ultra? Or do you
Maybe. I like the theory that it was like an arms deal with a Saudi prince and it went bad, but I don't actually see how it lines up fully.
Yeah, it's unlikely.
Be interesting that it's just one guy because he's past the actual like psychotic youth age where you do that shit.
It is pretty fishy. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe he was a spook actually, and they just set him up.
Yeah.
Wrong place, wrong time, wrong operational.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, this all goes back to God in the sense where this is the kind of news when it's shoved in your face like 24/7, it's going to make you forget that everyone has a soul. It's going to make you constantly look at everyone as like individuals, and you're going to feel more alienated from other people. And you're going to trick yourself into thinking, well, it's all about my family and friends and my tribe, and tribalism is right. And no, it's not right. It's not it. It ain't it. You probably still love the idea of tribalism. It's okay. I don't hate the idea of tribalism, but I just know
I think the most reasonable thing is to love your family and then otherwise be an individual. Or like the nuclear family. And some close friends. But anything beyond that, any abstraction, no.
What about community?
Community, yeah, that seems closer.
That's the one thing.
America as a
I know I
whole,
was
yeah.
talking mad shit about scenes, but I failed to offer the alternative, which I believe is community.
Yeah, I think community is also it's good to have time to yourself. It's good to be an individual. But humans are ultimately social animals. And I think too much time alone drives you crazy.
I don't think we're supposed to try to interbalance between like being social and being individual. I think we're supposed to realize like to be the individual is to be social with
Yeah,
the
I agree.
individual.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
to be an individual within the social group as opposed to being opposed to it or apart from it, alienated from it.
It's like to be
Finding
like
the right
everyone is technically an individual, and by
Yeah.
that fact alone, that means we're all the same community. You know, because like regardless of what community or culture you belong to, you're still an individual, and the fact that we all experience that one thing makes us all a community in a sense. And that's another big problem. Like a lot of people, whether you're conservative, liberal, black pilled, white pilled, like a lot of people have a problem. Actually, maybe not the white pillars, but a lot of people have a problem with viewing all of humanity as irrevocably connected.
Yeah. Different, all one soul living at different bodies in different lifetimes, all that, yeah.
I love how you memorized it, because that's what I want. I want people to just kind of memorize those words, which is, you don't have to agree to it, but I know that subconsciously everyone does, in fact, agree to it. Because I know everyone has a subconscious that automatically makes it true. Like shit.
Yeah.
If everyone has a consciousness, that makes it true. God damn it. Like, why can't we just do that? And of course, like, no, it's always fear of loss, and also fear of not getting revenge, fear of not getting justice. It's fear. Which is the opposite of abundance. Or I should say, fear represents scarcity, which is the opposite of abundance. But it's okay. Like honestly, I think the way I view things is just, I think people are gonna catch up real quick. And I think it's not that I'm a fucking, it's not even about spirituality or whatever at that point. It's about accelerationism. You know, it's about literally just being accelerationist.
Moving forward to the new world.
Well, it's also,
No, I was just spacing out reading your note there, your sticky note.
I mean, accelerationism isn't even an ideology. People think, like, the people who think of it as an ideology are wrong. Accelerationism is nothing but just an observation. It's just a label of an actual phenomenon that's happening, whether you like it or not. No matter what president is residing, no matter presiding, I should say. No matter what fucking rulers say what, no matter what people are doing, we are accelerating. The frequency is increasing of everything. Frequency of feeling, frequency of thoughts. Now the question isn't about how much you know or how much, how smart you are. Now it's all about how sane you are. If everyone has access to like every information ever, if informationally the time it takes for information to transmit between one mind to another gets vastly smaller and smaller, now it's like everyone knows everything. What kind of world is that afterwards? Now it's like, how can you cope with knowing everything. And I think that's what we're kind of coming to grips with, and that's where we evolve as a species. We're not just humans as we knew it back in like the 20th and 21st century. We can't be. It's a fundamentally different species.
Where we're hitting a bunch of evolutionary bottlenecks, divergence points, gaps within our society. The mass number of people who are not going to have kids, an aging population who is reproducing, the spiritual awakening or deadening, the variety of people that are going to be
there's transhumanists that are also acting out on their own fucking
huge
interests.
amounts of the world are just going to be destroyed by modern technologies. But some of the concerns, some of the concerns of great replacement racists, they fail to consider how badly Western decadence will hit the third world, and already has hit the third world. Much like how Latin American birth rates have plummeted.
Because of pornography.
I'm sure African birth rates are going to plummet very soon due to pornography, AI bullshit,
and they didn't even get to develop their Fords.
Substances.
They didn't even get to develop their Samsungs.
Yeah, exactly. If they ever would, but yeah, they never got the chance to.
Shit.
Just totally undercut by it. And much of the world is being undercut by social media manias. We're very lucky that when the Western world, particularly America, had a median age of like 22, social media was not invented yet. Social media would have ripped through the boomers far worse than it ripped through millennial Americans.
Yeah, I could say that's like, you know what? Let's be real. Like maybe warfare, the most prominent forms of warfare shifted from like physical guns and bombs to like psychological, emotional, spiritual warfare. Because now it's becoming clear that like a Twitter argument gone wrong could lead to like, I'm going to try to shoot this politician,
If Paul Scalise, Lindy Man, blocks you on Twitter, you might go out and shoot a healthcare CEO.
That's what I'm saying. And if that's the case, then that means like even normies like us can look at psychological warfare as, okay, this is something that it's not just limited to intelligence agencies and special forces. Now it's like we're all sucked into the psychological warfare because we are all the assets. We are the weapons. So it's like the question is, knowing that you're in this field, psychological minefield where you could be used as a weapon at any given time, how do you defend against that? Well, in my personal experiences, I couldn't think of a better defense than God. I mean, what are you going to tell me? It's college, go to college. Academia, yeah, okay. Oh, it's become a scientist, learn the sciences. Yeah, all right. Mathematics, maybe, but even still, like you get deep enough into mathematics and someone's going to try to kill you or exploit you.
Yeah, just like Pi, the movie.
Now, God, that's the one thing. I mean, religions did fuck with God plenty, but even them, like, they couldn't stop mysticism. And I'm not saying mysticism doesn't come with its own evils, because there's plenty of mystics that do dastardly shit. The Illuminati, the Masons, with their pedophilia and all that sick breeding programming shit from the bloodlines of Solomon. Everyone's got their
Scientologists don't have breeding programs because too many of their members are gay.
Well, also they were trying. That's probably one of the things that they disagreed with the old regime that they ultimately lost to.
Yeah,
they had a good run ultimately.
Largest infiltration of the U.S. government back in the 70s with Operation Cinderella or Operation Snow White, where Scientologists infiltrated the FBI.
But they got snuffed out, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's not that
now it's just like a remnant rump cult run by Tom Cruise, right? Like genuinely, doesn't Tom Cruise run Scientology?
They still have some pull. And to be honest, for them, the reason why they still enforce at all, it's because they've gone too far where the people who are still involved in it can only do this to survive. Because the minute they go dark is the minute like that's when like the real players are like, all right, they're good to go now. Let's just get rid of them. No one's gonna miss them.
Was it Neil Gaiman was raised a Scientologist and hasn't, I think, ever officially abandoned the church?
I mean, what's the difference at that point? It's like between that church and other churches, Jesus might as well be a UFO story.
Well, Jesus or other older religions have more staying power. I feel like they're just more aesthetically pleasing than the
No,
Scientology
it's just because
UFO story.
it's just because your genetic buildup as a white man. It's like also me. Like I even if I'm not white, like I was still raised within
Yeah.
the paradigm of Western culture. So like if I say I'm going to make myself a vessel for the warrior spirit, to me it's probably still going to come out as like Saint Michael or Archangel Michael or whatever, you know.
Yeah, saying you're a vessel for the warrior spirit, that feels a lot more grounded, a lot more believable than Scientology stuff, which just feels silly and dated.
Because we're not
Scientology feels like I pick up hints of a mid 20th century sci-fi nerd convention culture that had already been mainstream, sanitized, changed a lot by the time I was young and engaging with it.
But there was, even if it was a lie, there was still always truth to it, whether it was science fiction
Yeah.
or Scientology. There were, in fact, even biblically, sightings of strange things in the sky
Yeah,
that are
I know,
still
yeah.
to this day unexplained.
Aliens of the Bible feel a lot cooler than Scientology. And you're saying it's just my Western bias or historical bias, but I feel like it's just objectively, it feels stronger
No.
to me aesthetically.
First of all, that's not a hypothetical. There is literally sightings. It's just how you contextualize it. If you want to look at it as like, oh, whatever, this
I'm aware of it in the Bible, Jacob's ladder, all that. I'm just saying the way Scientology seems lame and the Bible seems cool. Aliens of the Bible seem cool. Scientology seems lame.
That's just only because aliens in the Bible are older.
No, I think it just was like it's just has more aesthetic appeal. I think the way it's delivered is better. I think Scientology has a silliness.
Well, that's really because Scientology.
I don't think it's just because it's more recent. I think it's like it's just not as artful.
No, because it's more recent. That means every following science fiction art, like piece of art, would probably be ripping off of the progenitor in some way or form. It happened before, and it's still following the same ideas. So it's still they would never have known about it if it wasn't for a causal effect chain of like them learning from it from its source material, which was biblical. So it's still related.
Yeah, no, it's related. But
Exactly. So it's like there would be no Scientology without, say, Christianity.
Sure.
There would be no, it wouldn't exist. It's still interlinked. This is why Scientology even worked in the first place, because they were drawing upon something that was an actual real, progenitor influence upon modern civilization, and they knew if they reacted to something like that, they would react to this in some form. Maybe not as strongly, but they're gonna react to it.
Hey, can you just Google something for me?
Yeah.
L.A. Church of Scientology mural. I don't know if this is the right name, but I think I've seen this building in real life in L.A.
The L.A. Church of Scientology mural. Is it this one?
No. Church of Scientology, Frank Franzetta.
Frank Zanzetta?
Frank Franzetta. I swear to God, they have like a reading room that has this Conan the Barbarian illustrator. Yeah, look at that. This is on the far left. There is a mural of this on a Scientology building in LA. It was his illustration for L. Ron Hubbard's Battlefield Earth.
Yeah, but you might look at this as wacky, but
I love it too, though. I love it.
Yeah, but is it really that wacky when you consider in 1,000 years you're gonna look at like DC comics and Marvel comics as like religious scripture?
God, that's so depressing. I don't think.
No. Don't shrug it off. Don't just do that. Don't do that. Because you're looking at this being that fantastic because of this bias that you're holding right now. You are already no, that would be so depressing. And
I mean, it probably you're actually entirely true.
There you go.
But
Thank you. Maybe they understood that, and you just refused to.
Well, yeah. Let me
accept
put it this way. At least maybe it's just because of the age I live in. I love Christian
You have your
religious art
biases
more. Yeah.
You have your biases.
So
That's
actually,
all
I
it
do
is.
love this because I love Frank Frazetta.
Yeah, but would you still love it as much if you looked at it from the lens that I was looking at it as, where they maybe good. So then just shed your biases, just
I'm still gonna make fun of the Scientologists, but I acknowledge my biases. Yeah.
And what if you did like look up in heaven, like look down from heaven as Carmen, like 1,000 years later, and you're like, damn, son of a bitch. They're really looking at this like the way we look at like medieval fucking stained glass murals, you know? To them, even back in those days, they're like, who the fuck is gonna take this seriously? You just take a bunch of
No,
colored
I think actually people in the past took these things a lot more seriously. I think they were way less ironic.
You don't think they take this seriously? You know how much effort and manpower and conceptual effort it takes to be able to craft shit like this? Like, yes, they take this seriously too, Carmen.
No, fuck. The people in the past would. I don't think there are many people mocking it. Maybe a few.
You don't think these artists, like, who actually did it were, like, you don't think a lot of them were, like, not as fervently fucking fanatical about the beliefs? You don't think they just did it because they were commissioned by the church to
Certainly
do
the Renaissance, you have some of that, but I don't know. I think
a lot of
I don't
that?
think,
Are you serious?
When you look at Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, if you pull that up,
Yeah.
Sistine Chapel mural or Sistine Chapel.
How do you spell the Sistine Chapel?
Sistee. Is it E or and no, two I after the T.
Okay.
There. Michelangelo might have been an atheist, but I feel like he was a more sincere atheist than a lot of modern people. But I don't know. I've trailed off here. I think I've lost all threads I was holding on to. How are you doing for time?
No, what I was saying before was I don't know. I think they were like the artists, the Renaissance artists were very spiritual, but they weren't necessarily Christian.
Yeah, that's fair. That seems fine. I could get behind that.
Like Da Vinci, for example, you know, and also the ones that, because like if you look at the relationship between a lot of them with the mercantile families of like Italy, for example, like the Medicis and stuff. Like they purposely attributed a lot of their, say, findings to like family members of their patrons and a lot of that shit. So the naming conventions kind of stuck in that sense. So like, yeah, I don't put it above these artists, these genius artists who just kind of played the game along, you know? I mean, you might attribute this as to the influence of the church. The church, no, I attribute
The influence of God very strongly.
Yeah.
More than anything. And then the church.
Well, I think God supersedes the church.
Yeah, so I said God first. With
Yeah, you're right. I agree with that too.
And also the nature of Catholicism,
Because, you
and
know,
also the nature of the Renaissance.
You know what I think of when I look at this
What?
more than Jesus? I think of like Pythagoras and Platon and
Well, they're all influenced by that.
that's what I'm saying. Exactly. So
And they believed in both very strongly, a lot of them.
I do think they're like when it comes to the Renaissance artwork, it's just they were in a state of enough abundance where they were able to tap into, say, the Akashic records, primordial insight, just at the around the time when the churches were like, all right, now we got to do some grand shit. It just aligned properly for them in that sense. But anyway, we could wrap it up. We talked plenty.
Yeah.
We followed a decent format. I think we should keep repeating
I
this
agree.
format.
This flows a lot more natural. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you all for joining us for the Terrorisk podcast. You got any closing statements?
Nah. Good night and God bless.
Good night and God bless.